Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Tuesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon. Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, hot topics. We might get a little political every now and again, depending on what the topic is. So that's a show for you. Definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including we need to talk about this rumor going around that Zoe Kravitz may not be in the upcoming Batman 2 situation. I'm going to let you know why I'm calling cap on it. Also, Bella Ramsey saying that they want to play Spider-Man. We'll get into that. Mahershala has apparently been replaced as Blade in the Marvel Zombies Disney Plus series. Christopher Landon is opening up about why he exited Scream 7. And this comes out of that new book that just dropped called Your Favorite Scary Movie. So we'll get into that tea. Charisma Carpenter is addressing rumors that she may or may not be reprising her role as Cordelia Chase in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the upcoming reboot. Sharon Stone is calling out this Basic Instinct reboot, speaking of which, and she don't seem too happy about it. Chris Pratt is getting a whole lot of backlash because he recently did an interview with Bill Maher and was talking about RFK Jr. and that whole sort of thing. And he wonders why he is been labeled the least favorite Chris out of all the other Chris's, and we'll get into those other Chris's that we be talking about. Speaking of which, we need to talk about Britney Spears. Like, what is going on with Miss Mama? She is a mess. We need her back. I was going to say, y'all need to put her ass back in that conservatorship. But if we did that, then we wouldn't get Wendy out of hers. And we do have some tea on Wendy, where she basically wants to get back into society, and she's trying to fight her way out of this conservatorship that Britney Spears was taken out of. Plus, Child is a song apparently on Ava Max's upcoming album that she ain't been out promoting. And the people said that it's addressing the Lady Gaga imitation, things that people have been saying about over the years, that she basically been copying off of Lady Gaga and all that other stuff. So we'll get into that, of course. And then speaking of doppelgangers and copying off of people and Lady Gaga, we got to about Madonna, who just celebrated her 67th birthday out in Italy and a whole bunch of other stuff. So we'll get into that. Plus, David Archuleta's Hold the Tomatoes is clarifying his sexuality. And speaking of clarifying and talking about their sexuality, Khalid seemed to have taking them shackles off his feet so he can dance with his brand new single. And he's taking his power back after Hugo Del Monte decided to out him on social media. So we'll get into that tea and a whole lot more. But before we get to that tea, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Now, after the live stream, I will be putting in the timestamps as I normally do every time we do a show. So that way those who are just coming in after, during the playback and not able to sit through the live show, y'all can just go in the description, click on whichever topic tickles your fancy, and basically just choose whatever topic, because I understand like everybody can't sit through the whole show that we do. Usually we always go, I say the show is always 3 hours plus. So I understand that a lot of people can't just take the time to sit and watch the show. And those of y'all that actually do sit through this mess, I appreciate y'all for, taking this ride with me from the beginning to the end every time we do a show, or most of the time we do a show. So I appreciate all the fans. I appreciate all the people that are my followers. I don't want to call y'all fans because I just feel like fans just sound corny. And it's just like, oh, y'all just like from afar. I want to call us friends, like friends, family. I don't know. We got to come up with something to call ourselves. Not something corny like the Little Monsters or the Rihanna Naze or the Beehive. Like, I don't want to be doing that. It's like, I see us as peers. So without further ado, let me scroll on to let me hit my banner because I always forget to do that before you're about to do the show. So I always have to remind myself and say it out loud, so I do it. And I see we have comments and stuff. I'll get to those in a minute. I'm sure a lot of the, how y'all doing, just getting ahead of that. And let's get into our first topic. And let's talk about this Zoe Kravitz news. I hit that a little early. That wasn't what I wanted to do. Take two in action. Let's get into this Zoe Kravitz news. So there was a rumor swirling that, first of all, I wasn't even thinking about it. Like when they was talking about the whole Batman Part 2 thing, I wasn't even thinking about Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Maybe I would have thought about it if I was giving it a rewatch. But for the most part, that wasn't even the top of my situation, like in the top of my brain. But the only thing I was thinking about was these rumors that was going around that Robin may be popping up in the Batman Part 2, which we know that James Gunn has debunked over something that Jeff Snyder had revealed on social media. I think it was on the Hot Mic where he revealed that he had heard rumors that, because according to James Gunn, only 4 people have read the script, and then he changed it and now 6. So I don't know. Is it 4? Is it 6? Is it 12? Is it 8? Like, what's the number? So James Gunn, I feel like, as much as I like him and I like his movies, I feel like ever since he's taken on this co-CEO role, he's been talking out of both sides of his damn mouth. And I'll just be side-eyeing him when he says I sound like Rosie Perez, because that's how she says. When he says a whole lot of ish on social media and tries to debunk it. And I'm like, sir, you giving a hit dog will holler tease. So with this whole situation being said, speaking of Jeff Snyder, because he revealed this on the Hot Mic last night. And so when I watched the show, I was like, let me just bring this to you guys so we can pretty much talk about it here. So, there's a huge amount of excitement, as we know, surrounding filmmaker Matt Reeves' plans for the Batman Part 2, which, they just finished the script, like, what was it, maybe a month ago? But according to a new rumor, Zoe Kravitz will not be reprising her role as Selina Kyle/Catwoman. Now, recent reports suggest Zoe Kravitz may not reprise her role, sparking speculation about the sequel's direction. However, there's still uncertainty, with some hinting that the claims could simply be a way to avoid questions, which is pretty much the way that they worded this, or the way that Jeff Snyder revealed it. I'm like, I feel like she probably is in the movie. Y'all just don't want us to ask about it because you don't want her to slip or whatever the case is. So on the Hot Mic show, he stated, the reps for Zoe Kravitz instructed the press, don't ask Zoe any questions about the Batman Part 2. She's not in it and doesn't know anything. And this basically, he said that how this popped up was when she was being interviewed at another film's junket, which is, oh my God, what's the name of that? There's this movie that she has coming out. I totally forgot the name of it. I mean, it looks interesting, but it's not interesting for me clearly to remember the name of the movie. But it's this movie that she has coming out with Austin Butler, which the rumor is them two are hunting in real life, because I guess their chemistry was so great in that new movie that they're doing that apparently the rumor is that they're dating. And look, she's single. She's no longer with Channing Tatum. He's no longer with Kaya Gerber, who is the daughter of Cindy Crawford. They're both single, so they can do whoever they want to do. So I ain't mad at it. He's actually, look, Austin Butler's a good looking guy, and she's a pretty girl. And it's funny because I was reading in this article, because I think he's in Men's Health, and the pictures and stuff started coming out with him, and he was saying something or another about that the director of the film had sent him pictures of like baseball players' butts, because he's supposed to be playing an ex-baseball player turned bartender in this new movie, and he wanted him to kind of get a butt. Like, I'm like, first of all, you're not Dominican. Number 2, there's no way in hell that you're going to develop that butt. And I've been seeing them pictures of him. I'm like, child, you still flat as a flapjack. So you might as well just give him like the little fake butt situation, like either borrow Madonna's fake ass, or you could borrow that fake booty thing. Remember, let me take y'all back to 2000. Remember that the pilot episode of Queer as Folk, when Michael went hooked up with that guy, and all of a sudden, when he got back to the apartment, he was taking his penis print out, he took his ass cheeks, the fake butt out, and all this other stuff, and then he was trying to find a way to slither out of that whole hookup. But the man was like removing all the parts of his body. And that was when Lindsay had the baby. And so that's when he found his excuse to go run down with Brian down to the hospital to go and deal with that whole situation. Same thing I'm saying with Austin Butler. I'm like, sir, you still look flat from the back. And I've seen them recent pictures of you. So the body looks good though, because you've been worked out. But for the most part, it was like, you still flat. Now, they said this has led to speculation that Catwoman will not appear in the sequel, John Roca added. So Catwoman is not in Batman Part 2, even though she was a big part of the first film. And Snyder said, listen, only 6 people on the planet have read the script. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks. And that's him being, of course, glib because y'all already know if you've been paying attention, or maybe you don't know. I always say that when it's like, maybe y'all probably already know, when it's like, I can't always assume that y'all know everything that I know and y'all watch everything that I watch, which is why I bring y'all the information if y'all can get the information from where I get my information from. So on the hot mic, if you've been watching the show, Jeff Snyder has kind of been going back and forth with James Gunn, even though James Gunn hasn't directly addressed him. There have been things that he has said on social media, particularly threads, where he's gone in and would try to debunk certain things that Jeff Snyder has said, to where Jeff kind of takes it personal and he goes off. And it's sort of like, you know what? You've been doing what you've been doing. You've been doing this for a long time. I don't know how long Jeff Snyder's been doing, probably like 10, 15, 20 years. I don't know. I haven't kept track of like how long he's been doing this stuff. But for about as long as he's been doing this, like he has a lot of people in the industry who gives him information and he comes back with it and he vets it. Sometimes he gets it right, sometimes he doesn't, but he's human. So everybody who gets scoops, yeah, the stuff turns out, sometimes it doesn't turn out to be true, but a lot of times he is correct in what he says, because then when he says it, a couple of days later, all of a sudden, the trades, like the varieties and the deadlines and all the stuff comes out and reveals stuff that he's revealed. Like, for example, the Duffer Brothers, there's been a story going around about them signing a deal, leaving Netflix after Stranger Things and signing a deal with Paramount Plus. That story has been floating around for the past maybe like 2 weeks. Story officially was broken today by the trades. So it's like, a lot of times when you're an independent person, you hear things and we put it out there and they'll try to debunk it and they get mad. But it's just like, look, I'd rather get it from somebody who is not tied into the industry versus somebody who works for the trades and is kissing these Hollywood people ass just so they can get access to certain places. And it'd be great to have access to a lot of these places, but I don't want the access if it's gonna cause me to have to like neuter some of the things that I'm going to say, when it's like, I feel like at the end of the day, I work for you guys. Like when I'm doing this show, I work for y'all. Y'all sit and tune in for the gossip and all the other stuff, and I'm bringing y'all the information as I'm hearing it from other people. So I totally understand like why Jeff was feeling the way he felt, and why and to me it's just like, James Gunn has to understand, like, I understand you're an artist and all that other stuff, but now you're in mogul mode. So you have to understand how you have to put yourself in that mogul brain and realize that being a businessman, being a mogul, they work on a different frequency than somebody who just wants to be an artist. If you want to be an artist, be an artist. But it don't seem like you know what you want to be. You don't know. 1 minute you direct, now you got ideas for the new Superman movie and you got a 60-page outline and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, so at what point are we actually gonna put our Kevin Feige hat on, and you know, Kevin Feige and MCU, y'all in a mess. We already just discussed that conversation. And I'm gonna probably bring that up when we get to that Blade story, which is coming up in like maybe what, 2 other topics post this one. So if you're gonna get in that mogul mindset, it's just like you have to be able to know, like, okay, so what are we doing? What are you putting together? Now, as far as like Catwoman, do I want to see Zoe Kravitz back in the movie? Oh, the movie is called Caught Stealing. I don't know why I couldn't remember the damn name of that movie, but do I want to see her in the movie? I liked Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Now, you already know my all-time favorite Catwoman will always be Michelle Pfeiffer, because that is the Catwoman that I grew up with from Batman Returns. That is my generation's Batman. When I was a little kid, I went to the movies to go see that, and that movie I felt like changed my life. I quoted every damn line from that freaking film. Me and my friend at the time in school, Mario, we used to just quote all the little scenes from that movie. Which I think it was like, yeah, all the Catwoman scenes, all the other stuff, we would just quote all those iconic lines from that movie. So that definitely caused a big impression on me when I was growing up. But out of all because I know some people say Julie Newmar, I'm like, first of all, I wasn't even alive when Julie Newmar was Catwoman, or Eartha Kitt. But my generation, as I said, is Michelle Pfeiffer. Now, in regards to this one, I mean, I liked Anne Hathaway. She was cool for what she had. I liked her costume and everything in regards to the movie. Y'all already know I have my trepidations about my love-hate relationship with the Nolan verse of Batman. I do love The Dark Knight. All the other 2 I was kind of bored with. But The Dark Knight to me is like the perfect Batman movie out of all of the 3 that he's done. And I love the Batman with Robert Pattinson. I love what Matt Reeves has done with that, and I like that Catwoman. I would like to see more of her in the film. Do I think she has a part? I'm sure she will have some sort of a role in here, because my thing is this: if somebody is not in a film, why would you tell people at a press junket, oh, don't bring up nothing about Catwoman because she don't know nothing? Like, if I'm a reporter and I'm just going to bring up, so Matt Reeves is done with the script. Have you read anything? Are you going to be in the movie? She could have just easily said, I haven't seen a script. I don't know if I'm in the movie. I haven't heard anything. Nobody's contacted me. You know just as much as I do. Like, you could have spun it in a way where people would have just left it alone and we would have moved on. But then when you say something like this, all you've done is pretty much drawn attention to the fact that now we're speculating. Is she in the movie? Is she not in the movie? Now I'm starting now, and I think a lot of people are forming more on the side of, I think they full of ish. I think they lying, and I think she's in the movie. And if she is, then that's great, because I don't mind seeing Catwoman. We saw it, I mean, then we saw like they went their separate ways, and time has passed since then. So there's some way to bring her back, especially the part with Kristen Milotti, and that scene what happened in The Penguin, where her discovering that whole thing about Selina being her sister and that sort of thing. If they decide to play that up and bring Kristen Milotti, back into the Batman Part 2, as well as Colin Farrell reprising his role as Penguin before we get the Penguin Season 2, then I'm all for these characters being back in this movie, because y'all gonna have to do something, and I'm really hoping and praying that the big storyline, because none of us know what's in the script except 4 people, according to them, or 6 people, how many the hell he said. I'm hoping they do the quarter hours, because that's definitely the storyline. I think if you're going to place this whole thing about realism and power and people taking over Gotham and that sort of power play situation, I really think that the quarter hours is a great story to take on if you're going to be doing the Matt Reeves verse of Batman. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Zoe Kravitz and the rumors swirling that she may or may not be in the Batman Part 2? Do you think that she's in Batman Part 2? I actually think that if she wasn't in the movie, they wouldn't have made people at a press conference say what they said. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Alex in the building. Robert's in the building. Dory Dodu. You're new. Gave a laugh emoji. Okay, so now let's move on. So we can go from Batman to Spider-Man. Now, Bella Ramsey, who y'all know goes by they them pronouns, recently spoke up in an interview. I forget what kind of interview. I think she was talking about, or they were talking about Pedro Pascal, because y'all know he was killed off in The Last of Us season 2, similar to the video game. I think also that I'm starting to wonder this too. Do y'all think that The Last of Us part, because everybody was saying the ratings was going down in The Last of Us season 2, do y'all think that season 2 is going to suffer the same kind of fate as The Walking Dead? Remember when Negan came in, and even though it was comic book accurate that he went and killed off certain characters on the thing and trying to follow it to the letter in regards of the way that they took them out, a lot of the characters, that The Last of Us is suffering from that, but just way earlier in the seasons? I don't know. I kind of felt that, because here's the thing. After y'all done killed Pedro Pascal and did all the other stuff, I watched up until the last 2 episodes of the season, and I haven't gone back. And to be honest, I don't even feel it in my spirit to even want to go back and watch The Last of Us. I'm just kind of disappointed with the direction they're going. And then I'm hearing like the girl that pretty much, was secret, what's her name? Abigail? They're trying to do season 3 from her point of view. And I'm like, I don't care about this girl's point of view. I don't want to know what she's been like following her around. Like, no. I mean, it's interesting from a technical standpoint if you want to do like camera work and all that other stuff. But as far as the story, I don't like that bitch. Well, her name is Abby, but Abigail, whatever. If y'all, I don't care about her enough to want to follow her damn story, but if y'all can find a way to make it interesting, but y'all already done pissed me off with season 2, I really don't care what y'all do with season 3. So, I'll just go by season 1.5 of what I've been doing. But anyway, so Bella Ramsey recently did an interview, and they said that they would love to play Spider-Man on the big screen. They need to write a character, or they need to write a Spider-Man for them. So Bella Ramsey has an idea of what they like to do next with Pedro Pascal following the death of his character Joel on the second season of The Last of Us, saying, quote, I think maybe like a heist movie where we're robbing a bank together. This is what Ramsey said to Variety at the HBO Emmy nominees event in Hollywood. Ramsey said they are, no surprise, most frequently asked about Pascal, saying it's how is Pedro Pascal? Is he as nice as he seems? This is what Ramsey said. That's mostly what people ask me, and the answer is yes, he's here, and I have not seen him in so long. I'm looking around trying to find him. They added, and they said, most of our texts consist of, where in the world are you? I'm here. Are you there? Oh, we just missed each other. So y'all playing Where's Waldo with each other? Now they said that talk has also turned to superheroes because Pedro, recently started the Fantastic Four First Steps, which we've already talked about on the show, especially yesterday when we were talking box office numbers, that the Fantastic Four is not doing well at the box office. Like, I mean, it's doing okay, but in regards of like keeping that status and all the other stuff, it's kind of a failure on the part of the MCU, but MCU has kind of been struggling lately. They desperate right now with Spider-Man, hence why we're going to talk about it. They desperate, hoping that this new Spider-Man movie is going to breathe new life into the franchise, hence why they got Tom Holland running around being political. I mean, politicking with the shaking the hands and hugging on and high-fiving little kids and taking pictures and all this other stuff out in Glasgow, Scotland, because it's like, y'all want to remind people, look, we're shooting. We want everybody to know this movie is happening, and you want to get everybody excited so that when the movie comes out next year, y'all remember all this social media stuff that they've been putting out here, so that way y'all can go and see this movie when it comes out. That and the fact of this Doomsday movie, which I'm not all that excited about, especially when y'all announced that y'all cast Tony Stark to play some damn Doctor Doom. I'm not even liking that whole angle with it. But if the story turns out to be great, if it turns out to be interesting, if there's a way that you can convince me that Robert Downey Jr. can shed that whole Tony Stark persona, which he failed at doing when y'all first announced him at, I think it was Comic-Con, right? When y'all first announced, he comes out with the hands wide open like he was Tony. It was giving Tony Stark. So I didn't buy it even at that point. So if you could prove to me or convince me otherwise and change my mind that he could pull off playing this character instead of me just looking at him and automatically seeing Tony Stark, then I'll be with it. But so far, I'm not buying it. And so they also talked, so they talked about the thing and they said you didn't call Pascal and say you wanted to be in the next MCU movie. Like they have that, wherewithal to do that. That's up to the casting people and whoever is working at the MCU if they want to put Bella in a movie. It's not about what they want. It's about you auditioning for whatever character and then they put you in the role. So that was a dumb question, but whatever. Let's continue. And then they went on to say, I don't know about that. I could be Spider-Man. Tom Holland did a great job, though, so maybe they do need to make a new superhero for me. Now, Ramsey is actually a newbie to superhero films and saying they've only watched one as Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, which was an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie, and said it was the first time I watched a Marvel film, and that was 3 months ago. And they said that they loved it. So here's the thing. My thing is, I don't know, but I guess there are a lot of actors who take on superhero roles. But I was like, at least fake it, like you were a big comic book fan. But they just like, oh no, I just saw I never watched the superhero movie, so I'm like, if you ain't never watched one, you ain't a part of that whole situation, I don't need you jumping in it. But if you're an actor and you got to do the research, you become that character, then that's fine. But I'm gonna say this. There are different iterations of Spider-Man. Like we have Miles Morales, we have Spider-Pig, we have Spider-Noir. We have all these different Spider-Mans that we've seen in the Into the Spider-Verse universe. So if you want to play one of those type of characters, that's great. But as Spider-Man, I need Spider-Man to be a man. I don't want Spider-Man to be a girl. I don't want Spider-Man to be a they, them. I don't want a Spider-Man to be all that stuff. And if people get mad, oh well, suck the shit out my ass. But for the most part, it's like, no, I need Spider-Man to be what Spider-Man is. We can go off and we can create other characters and other iterations. Like I said, we have different versions of Spider-Man or Spider characters, and they've already been given their spin-offs and all this other stuff. What's the other one that we talked about the other day that they're coming out with a different Spider-Verse animated film with Daniel Kaluuya, I think it is, if I remember off the top of my head. They already said that they're coming out with that. So I'll be interested to see that if they decide to do that. I mean, I would like to see Bella in a superhero film. I was like, they could make them Kitty Pryde, like they did. Remember, Elliot Page was Kitty Pryde at one point back in the day when they were Ellen. So they could do that. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Would you like to see Bella Ramsey as Spider-Man or a iteration of Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse? I'm like, if they have an interesting character and there's a Spider-Verse type of person that Bella could play, I'd be down for it. But to me, honestly, I actually think that maybe Sony just figured this out, but maybe the animated Spider-Verse works better for them than a live action, because all the Spider-Verses that they've done, the live action versions of the Spider-Verse without Spider-Man being in it, have sucked. But the animation stuff, everybody's saying is, well, we've only seen like Into the Spider-Verse, those type of things, the Miles Morales one. But all the other animated ones and all the other things coming out, there's always been good things that I've been hearing. I do want to see that Spider Noir one with Nicolas Cage whenever that comes out. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Spider-Man, Bella needs to take several. Not Spider them. Chill. Listen, I couldn't even believe that Bella could win a fight in The Last of Us. Now they want to play a Spider. There was some things that was irritating me about The Last of Us, where they changed certain things. Because remember when that girl talked about how she was pregnant and, oh, I'm going to be a dad, bitch. You have a pussy. You're not going to be a dad. So stop that. And then number two, when it came on to, in the video game, I heard like she was upset. Her character Ellie was upset when, oh my God, Isabella Merced's character turned out to be pregnant in the game. So how y'all changing stuff all of a sudden? Like, first of all, in this world, and I got somebody having my back that's pregnant, that's a problem. That's a red flag. I don't want to have to be responsible for the fact that, hey, you're gonna be waddling, trying to run away from freaking infected, and now I gotta sit and try to protect you and deal with the possibility of you not getting shot. And like, no, it's too much. Damn camera keep moving. Probably because I was just like, yeah, your ass waddling when you trying to have and you big and pregnant in a zombie apocalypse. Like, what? See, I already jumped the shark in season 2. That's why I think like a lot of people was mad over, what's happened. I was like, hold on, I know I got my water up in here. I want my water and my check. Oh my God, this camera. I need to stop moving. I also had to make some adjustments on this thing because I noticed, like, as I was sitting, I'm like, why am I so low? But I realized I had to put my computer on a platform because I filmed this from my laptop, my gaming laptop. And I was like, I need to level this where I look like I'm high, not high and Cooter Brown, but high in the seat where it's like I'm not sinking, because I used to see like the lower third be up here. I'm like, why is that up so damn high? And also, I don't know what the hell's in the air. I think because the weather's starting to change and fall is like coming in a month, I'm starting to like get freaking, my allergies been acting up. Like, what the hell is going on? Wait, this one's, oh yeah. All right, so now let's get back into the show, y'all. And let's talk about Mahershala Ali. So I know, like, in the headline, I was like, Mahershala Ali replaced. Yeah, that was the drag y'all into the situation. But technically, he has been replaced. But in the upcoming, what is it, Marvel Zombies? That's supposed to be coming out on, I believe, what is that? Disney Plus. I believe it's coming out next month. But so it says the MCU franchise has cast a new Blade actor in Marvel Zombies. Now, despite having announced it back in San Diego Comic-Con in 2019, Blade is still in development hell, with Marvel Studios still remaining committed to bringing the iconic hero to the big screen, but the character is set to return to TV this fall. Now, as per comicbook.com, Todd Williams will voice Eric Brooks, also known as Blade Knight. In the upcoming Disney Plus series, this role expands his presence in Marvel projects as he previously voiced Rick Mason in the video game Spider-Man Miles Morales. Now, Marvel Zombies will premiere on September 24, 2025, and continue the events of Marvel's What If, which first introduced audiences to the undead plague in the MCU. The series brings back David Harbour as Red Guardian, Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch, Florence Pugh as Yelena, Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, and Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel. Now, here's the thing that kind of bothers me about this. Why have y'all set this whole thing up that Mahershala Ali is going to be Blade, the live action version? But you couldn't get him to do the voicing for this? What was he shooting, Jurassic World at the time? And if he was, that's what y'all get for making somebody wait around damn near 8 years to play a character that y'all announced back in 2019 when you should have had this whole situation situated from the beginning instead of trying to shoot your wad early and come up there and be like, oh, look, we got Blade. We're going to give everybody Blade and get everybody excited. And everybody got their damn movie except him. And then you gave us movies about characters we don't give a shit about. So I'm kind of intrigued to want to see what this whole Marvel Zombies thing is about. And if this is a way that, is this the gateway for y'all to leave it open, where we will see, is it going to lead to a live action Blade film? Like, how are we introducing Blade into the MCU? Y'all still haven't figured that out yet. And I think the problem with y'all is y'all don't know how to do what I guess James Gunn is saying about the DCU. He's saying that, I don't want to bore everybody, but I just want to give everybody, like, every movie is going to have its own little thing. It's going to have their own type of tone. MCU, I feel like, is still on this whole thing where they're trying to connect everything. And to me, it's like, how do you connect Blade? How do you make him work in this whole MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I mean, we saw Blade in Deadpool and Wolverine. So if you could bring him in there with all these other characters, I don't think we need a harsh explanation of this stuff. Just make an individual MCU vampire movie and somebody's all just killing people and all this other stuff. You could probably even use what happened in the Multiverse of Madness with the spells and all this other stuff. Like, find something with that and connect it if y'all trying to do some stuff. But it just seems like y'all don't know what the hell y'all doing over there. And it's a mess. And I'm kind of getting irritated. And I feel like at this point, maybe y'all need to leave Blade alone or sell it off or co-partner with another studio that knows what the hell they're doing or how they can figure this out. Especially when we've had Dave Goyer, who was able to bring Blade to life in 3 films. He said that he'd be willing to come on board and help y'all crack the code or whatever it is y'all doing. But, Kevin Feige, fat neck, lame ass, he thinks he knows every damn thing, and we get it. You've been producing for like damn near over 20 years, so you know what you're doing there, but y'all are struggling right now. That whole MCU, we've got everybody beat in regards to being the kings of the castle. Y'all not there no more. Y'all don't have that same type of power that y'all thought y'all had. It's waned, and it's showing in the box office. The fact that y'all are creating these superhero films and it's not giving people a reason to want to go back to the theater and watch these films. I feel like maybe those who are going back to the theater is because of out of some undying fealty to the whole MCU situation, because it's something they become used to. But I'm at a point, like, if the movie don't move me in some sort of way, I'm not going back to watch it over and over and over again. I saw Thunderbolts. I haven't rewatched it since when I went to the movies to see it. The Brave New World, I saw that once in the theater. Did not go and revisit that since. And Fantastic Four, while visually it looked amazing, there was no real story there. And it's, even though it was the most accurate of comic book films that I've seen out of all the Fantastic Four movies, it was like, yeah, story-wise, I was kind of bored. Everything looked great. The characters looked great. I love the retro futuristic design and everything. But after that, I'm just like, okay, it's all right. Now, if it popped up on TV somewhere, I probably would give it a gander, but it's not something that I'm like, oh my God, I gotta rush back and see that damn, movie again. But Blade, y'all need to figure out what the hell y'all doing. And y'all irritate me with this whole situation. I mean, I'll go and check out Marvel Zombies when it comes out. I heard it's like they doing like what they did with the last what was it called? Eyes of Wakanda, which I have not even seen yet. I heard it's 4 episodes. They'll probably drop them all at once. And also, you know what's annoying me about the MCU? The way y'all just throw y'all shows on Disney Plus. Y'all want us to be loyal to y'all network or your streaming service. Even I will say this, maybe the reason why, because I looked at the numbers and like where a lot of the streaming services rank. Disney Plus does rank higher than Hulu, which is why I guess the reason why that they're going to take Hulu and swallow it up and it officially becomes Disney Plus in 2026. So I'm thinking that's the reason why they're doing that, because there are more subscribers to Disney Plus than there is Hulu. I just hope that they all take the interface of Hulu and apply it to Disney Plus, because I don't like y'all overall design, your website design or web design, you want to call it that, or interface, as I said. I don't like the overall design. It looks, I'm like me trying to scroll and trying to find something. I don't like the way y'all design looks. So fix that. So they also said alongside those characters, we got Haley Steinfeld's going to be in there, Aquafina, Randall Park, Dominique Thorne, and others will reprise their roles. So they got all these people in there that's reprising their roles, but y'all couldn't get Mahershala Ali to show up. So what the hell is going on? So does this mean that Mahershala Ali is actually out as Blade, but y'all just don't want to tell us, because y'all know, like, if you tell us the real situation was going on, so you want to string us along? I mean, oh no, it's still happening. Oh no, it's like, I don't understand how it takes so long when there's so much source material for Blade for y'all to figure out what the hell's going on. Where's Bo DeMayo? I need him to speak on this. He been speaking a lot, if y'all been paying attention to him on his social media. And yes, it do sound like a lot of sour grapes. It do sound like a hit dog hollering, like you just mad because you lost your good cushy job. But I'm entertained by the mess and I'm entertained by the shenanigans, but it's just ridiculous at this point that y'all can give us a bunch of other superheroes we don't give a good goddamn about, and you can make all these other characters like a bunch of side characters or some mid characters and call them Thunderbolts, aka the New Avengers, but you can't figure out how to crack the code with Blade. Like, get out of here with this foolishness. So that's all I got to say on that, but I want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story regarding this Marvel, what is it? Marvel Zombies. So that's when we're gonna actually get Blade. But they can't figure out why they can't figure out how to just bring him to life in a live action form. I don't know what the hell's going on with Disney. So get it together, people. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, and I'm tired of talking about it because when I do, I get irritated, like I just did with that recent video. I mean, with that recent story. So I'm just like, can y'all please figure out what the hell y'all doing over here? Video games nowadays are like movies. Well, that is true, because I've been saying for years, I'm like, sometimes when I look at certain video games, I'm like, oh my god, this looks so cinematic. It would be a great movie for it. And now it's just like people in the industry are starting to get that in that headspace of like Fallout. They just released a new trailer for that today. They figured out how to crack the code with that. The Last of Us season 1, they figured out how to crack the code with that. So it's like the video game adaptations are really and now we were hearing that they're supposed to be coming out with a God of War movie and so much other stuff. The Mortal Kombat movie does look really good, the second one. Although someone said something, I'm like, you know what, you're absolutely right. Johnny Cage, as much as I love Carl Urban, why do I feel like he was miscast? Some people were saying, and I was like, I was glad to see him until someone brought up Scott Adkins. And I was sitting there like, you know what? Scott Adkins would have been perfect. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know if he could do it. I don't know if I don't think I've ever seen him do a movie where he's doing an American accent, but I'm sure it's not that hard. You know, Jason Statham don't ever he just want to stay doing the same delivering the same thing over and over. And we eat it up. But I would have loved to have seen Scott Adkins do Johnny Cage, like an aging B-movie action star. That's kind of what he's been playing a lot in his career, to be honest. I mean, that would have definitely worked if they would put him in there. First of all, he does his own martial arts. He does his own stunts. But every time when I looked at this Mortal Kombat thing, as much as I'm excited to see this movie, it's like we seeing Carl Urban, we know he's not doing that stuff. Y'all basically just took his face, juxtaposed it on a bunch of stunt people's bodies. So when he's doing them flips and all the other stuff, that's not him. So we know. So that I don't know if that's the running joke, if that's something y'all gonna be doing up in there. But I don't know. I have to see the full movie. But for the most part, I do feel like, you know what, Scott Adkins would have been perfect for the Johnny Cage character. But it's Carl Urban. But I'm still go see it. Okay, y'all. So now let's move on and let's get out of this mess with the MCU. And let's talk about Scream. So, um, there's a book that just came out, and I totally forgot about it until I came across this article. So there's a book that's out called Your Favorite Scary Movie, where it's basically a bunch of interviews with people and behind the scenes stuff of a lot of, Scream and over the years, because Scream does turn 30 next year. So apparently they spoke to Christopher Landon, and he revealed why he had to step away from being in the upcoming film. That, I've heard that it's been edited, that it's all said, it's all done. The film, they shot it, I think when did they shoot it? Back in February. I think they were done in like 2-3 months, and then I've heard that the film was fully edited and it's ready to go, but we ain't getting it until February next year. So filmmaker Christopher Landon looks back on a particular painful situation in his career, departing Scream 7 after the firing of Melissa Barrera and the uproar that ensued. Now, Ashley Cullen's new book, Your Favorite Scary Movie, How the Scream Films Rewrote the Rules of Horror, chronicles the Scream 7 that nearly was. Now, Landon, who came aboard to direct the movie when the original directors Matt Bettinelli opened and Tyler Gillett, aka Radio Silence, exited, told the author that he then left the project about a week after production company Spyglass Entertainment fired Barrera over her social media posts about the Israel-Hamas war. Excuse me. However, he then received numerous death threats and harsh criticism online for his perceived involvement in the actress's departure. He said, I was still sorting through my feelings about everything that had happened. When it all went down, it was something I was trying to process in a private and balanced way. When you're a public-facing person, often people don't like that. People want an immediate reaction, and they want you to agree with them. Well, before I get to what the rest of what he said, I actually agree with him on that. And I think that was the same thing that we talked about with Gal Gadot yesterday. She's still a Zionist. See you next Tuesday. But with all the other stuff, I do agree that sometimes people will look at you as like, okay, so she's from Israel, she's an IDF former soldier, and she's going to go in lockstep with what the Israel people are about, which she pretty much has said, and then try to blame the failure on the movie that she was Snow White as to the reason why people didn't, had a problem. And I'm sure people were immediately just using her political stance or whatever as a part of that. But then also, after the movie came out, she just wasn't good in the part. So that's why everybody was talking about it. And then, of course, when you had her who was pro-Israel, and then you had Rachel Ziegler who was anti-Israel and pro-Palestine, not pro-Hamas, because a lot of people like to say that. Y'all always try to lump everybody who is free Palestine, pro-Palestine, stop killing and this whole genocide. Y'all keep calling it a war. It's not a war. It's not a war if it's one-sided. That's another thing that people need to understand as well. Wars are not one-sided. Now, if there's a war, there has to be one team, then there's another team. They collide. That is a war. Not one team dropping bombs, starving people, and the other people are just helpless in and trying to fight back. That's not a war. That's literally somebody who's going in and ostracizing and creating a whole genocide, and the other people are just weak, helpless in the whole situation. So people need to understand what the hell the word war means. But I understand, like, a lot of legacy media, a lot of corporate media, they want to sit in and they want to paint this certain narrative. I do feel like that Melissa was wrongfully fired for what she had to go through, because if you are speaking up against atrocities going on in the world, people should be allowed to take that stance and not have their jobs affected because people at the top have Zionistic views in how they believe. So you've taken a political stance by firing someone because they don't agree with how you feel with stuff. And it's the same thing with Christopher Landon. Y'all going in on him because he didn't come out with an immediate reaction about something. I'm like, well, damn, I literally just came in with this movie. They fired her. I'm having to have the time to process this. Do I stay on the movie? Do I stay off the movie? What do we do about the script? We got to change everything because he said in the script that the movie was mostly about her character, Sam Carpenter. So when you have an entire script that is solely focused, well, I don't know if Tara was in the movie because I don't even think he brought that up. But we know that it was about Sarah and Tara, or Sarah and Tara, Sam and Tara. So if it's about Sam and Tara in the other two movies, if this one was solely going to focus on, because the way he made it seem like it was like, yeah, it was heavily focused on Sam. So when you have your whole script that's solely focused on one particular character, it's like, well, what do we do? Now we have to go in. Now we got to change the script. Now we have to do this. Now we have to do that. And of course, panic mode happened and Spyglass finally got, woke the hell up and realized that they screwed up because I was treating, Nev Campbell like sugar honey iced tea when she was the one that basically carried this whole entire franchise on her back since 1996. So when y'all sitting up in here and doing this and treating her the way you've been treating her and don't want to pay her because y'all under new management and you bringing in Radio Silence who has their own characters they want to work on and they're like, well, screw the legacy characters. Well, it's like, wait a minute, bitch. First of all, we've been riding till dawn with this franchise since the beginning. What you're not going to do is come up in here and treat Dewey, Gail, and Sydney like shit. You're not going to do that. And then underwrite them and then try to have us give a good goddamn about the core four. When it was like, it was cool meeting these new characters and I wanted to take this journey with them, but you was underwriting your own damn characters too, and then giving them plot armor. And there were great ideas, I will say this, in Scream 5 and 6, but collectively they were not good movies, especially when you're trying to match them up to the brilliance that was the original Scream and Scream 2. Scream 3 is an acquired taste. I did like a little bit of the comedic stuff in there. I definitely love Jennifer Jolie, who I believe, who was that? Played by Parker Posey. She was a cackle in the damn movie. It was just a lot of great things that was in that movie. It wasn't the best movie, but I was thoroughly entertained by it. Scream 4 had its moments. Then we had the other 5 and 6. I don't need to go through that again. But yeah, people love to jump in and just be so quick to go in and let have on somebody when it's just like, well, damn, can you give me a minute to kind of process the hell's going on before y'all be like, well, you need to take a stance now. We're gonna curse you out. We're gonna threaten to kill your kids and all that, which they did. They actually did. They went in and they threatened to kill his kids. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? You're no different than those damn Zionists who are talking about that Palestinians deserve to die. For every hostage that they have over there, via Hamas, we need to kill thousands of Palestinians. Or we need to shoot them in the nuts, which they actually have been doing, or shoot one of the kids' legs off, or whatever the case, which is how they've been doing too. Pick them, we're going to pick a body part today and see who we're going to treat as target practice. This is stuff that has been logged in, and I have seen myself of what these people are doing. So, to me, what her saying what she did is nothing in comparison to what they're doing to them people over in Gaza. So now Barrera's social media post in question criticized the Israeli government's actions, as we stated. Spyglass deemed it hate speech, which it wasn't. I could have sworn that calling it a genocide was not considered hate speech. It's actually just speaking the truth and holding a mirror up to the flaws of our society. And I think that's what they're trying to do, especially with our history. In American history, like our equal participation in things. We could talk about all the great things that America has done, and there are great things that America has done and participated in this, that, and the other. And the third. But what we're not going to do is sit up here and act like we're not participating. Like there's no negative aspects of what we participated in too. The indigenous genocide of Native Americans, the slavery of Black people, of bringing them over from Africa into America to do all the jobs that a lot of these white folks wouldn't do. The reason of how we treating Latinos, especially after the whole Trump authoritarian situation that's going on now. So there's many of things that we could be bringing up in this whole situation that America has been a part of. Columbus Day and all that. So that genocidal fucking maniac, and how we're still celebrating Columbus Day in this damn country. But I think we've changed it to, didn't we call it to like Indigenous Day or something or another? I can't remember. They've been coming up with so many goddamn holidays every month. I can't keep track of these damn things. So now Landon also said that he was not going to make a Scream 7 without Barrera, saying there was no movie anymore. The whole script was about her. And he said, I didn't sign on to make a Scream movie. I signed on to make that movie. When that movie no longer existed, I moved on. Well, here's the thing. Can you at least tell us what the movie was? Like, inquiring minds want to know in regards of what kind of movie were you actually making that was so great with Melissa Barrera being in it that you was like, oh, I need to walk away. So I don't know if I'm necessarily buying that and what he's saying. Um, yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily buying what he's saying with that, because I was wondering, because I don't know, for just in my gut, I've always kind of felt that, you know what, regardless of that whole situation, I think he would have still stayed on board. I really do feel like he walked away from this situation because of the death threats. I truly believe that that was the reason. He just don't want to go into that fully, but you just want to sit up here and say, oh, well, I just decided to walk away because I wanted to make that specific film with her and this whole story. What was so great about that storyline that you was like, oh, I have to make this movie. And don't get me wrong, I like Christopher Landon. I like a lot of the movies that he's done. I think a lot of, when you look at a lot of his films, from Freaky to what was the other one? Oh, Freaky, Happy Death Day Part 2. When you look at a lot of those films, you definitely get a lot of the inspiration. A lot of Scream isms is in it, from the characters, the dialogue, the way the film is shot. It's very much a lot of that. And of course, I told y'all this yesterday, we was talking about it. I love Drop. Drop was a really good movie, and it basically, it feels more Hitchcockian when he made that film, but for the most part, I thoroughly enjoyed Drop, and I really would have loved to see him take on a Scream film, because I do feel like tonally he has definitely been inspired by Wes Craven and Scream and all other stuff. So funny enough, he said that the movie that he did regarding Drop, he said it was a love letter to Wes Craven and my homage to Red Eye after leaving Scream 7. He said it took a minute, but ultimately it ended up being the best decision of my life. And I do agree with that. I feel like, I mean, I would still love to see a Scream movie directed by Christopher Landon. I don't think it'll ever happen, but I did say this. I was like, if he doesn't decide to do that, can you come in and make the sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer? With sidebar, if you haven't seen I Know What You Did Last Summer, the digital release is next week. So you can actually catch it then. So I would have liked to have seen him take that on, but I do feel like, you know what, maybe you could make I Know What You Did Last Summer interesting, because there's parts of this new I Know What You Did Last Summer that irritated my spirit, but I had a good time with it. And Jennifer Caden Robinson, some of her dialogue and some of the stuff that was in it, I don't feel like it was well executed, but I do feel like with the suspense and the characters and all the stuff, that Christopher Landon could make a far more interesting I Know What You Did Last Summer than he would have Scream, if he doesn't want to come back to that. But I don't think he will, because of all the drama that transpired from that. So, but I did like Drop. And funny enough, I got more Hitchcock from that than Wes Craven. But then again, I haven't seen Red Eye in so long, even though I know it's like, I think it's on Hulu, one of the streaming services, because I've been seeing it as I be scrolling through trying to find something to watch. But I haven't brought myself to watch that movie in a while. But I think I need to revisit that. But we have Scream 7 coming out next year, where it's basically been revamped, the storyline, to focus on Sydney's family, including her daughter, played by Isabel May, and her husband, played by Joel McHale, which we already know, like, Mark, the other Mark, was supposed to be up in there, Mark Kincaid, but apparently Patrick Dempsey couldn't make it work, so then they bring in Joel McHale. So I guess might be some Scream multiverse, where all of a sudden she got a grown-ass kid and not a little baby, because I could have sworn in Scream 5 she had two kids in that stroller instead of one, but they apparently just gave her one kid. So we don't know anything, but then they said more details about the development of Scream 7 are included in your favorite scary movie, how the Scream films rewrote the rules of horror, which you can actually see is the cover art of the book. So if you want to definitely check the book out, I totally forgot that the book was coming out. So now that I just did the story, I'm going to definitely get my book. I'm going to get it off Amazon. So, and if you were looking forward to, so the book is out now, but if you're looking forward to checking out the movie of Scream 7, which I'm hoping that we get a trailer around the time when Black Phone 2 comes out. I'm guessing. I don't know when the trailer's coming out, but I'm hoping around Black Phone 2, during that release, we get a teaser or something. But the movie comes out February 26, 2026. I actually like that number, 2/26/26. So, Yeah, that's all I got on that. So I definitely want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this story regarding of what Chris Landon had to say about the reason why he walked away from your favorite skating movie? I definitely want to check this book out because I want to see if they spill any more tea regarding this film or what can we expect from the upcoming film. And if they even have like really cool stuff, like shots, location things, and just anything that we can get that would get me excited for this Scream movie. Because as I said before, I'm a big Scream fan. I love this franchise. I love the whole Scooby-Doo aspect of it. I love the slasher aspect. I love the silly one-liner and the jokes and all that stuff. So I'm really excited. And I'm glad that we got Sydney being the focal point because it's been a while since we've had a Sydney-centered story. So with that other script being all about Melissa Barrera, I'm really hoping and praying that Kevin Williamson, who, created Sydney, Gale, and Dewey, may he rest in peace, but the rumor is he's coming back for the new one, that y'all came out with a much stronger script than whatever it was that was a part of this one that Chris Landon walked away from. And I hope in this book they reveal what that storyline was going to be about. But I don't think they'll even have Melissa Barrera coming back in the future after all this other stuff that happened with Spyglass. So what's the harm in actually letting us know what that story was that y'all were working on before y'all decided to scrap it and then y'all fired Melissa? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so now let's see what the people are saying. Johnny Knoxville is the voice of Johnny Cage in the Mortal Kombat animated films. Oh, that's good. Like you said, I kind of started to think Hassan might be pro Hamas. He basically said he looked. Well, yeah, now her husband Ethan is trying to get him banned off of social media. That's why I would say y'all gotta watch certain things that y'all be saying on here because they just look for any little thing to try to come at you and get you kicked off of Twitch or whatever the case is. And if y'all start putting hate speech and things out here about people, um, don't be surprised if you actually end up starting to lose your source of income. So Hassan, I like all the stuff that you be putting out here with the politics, but you need to be careful with some of the stuff that he says though. Just like you can spew the things you need to spew and give people the information in regards of what's going on in the world politically, but just watch your mouth in regards of like the threats. He said as a secretary in the IDF, and Hassan basically put life threats, and Ethan saying, "Did you see that animated picture that I put up of Ethan Klein and the fact that he was like looking at he was covered in jizz, looking at pictures of Hassan Piker." That's what I'm thinking about Ethan. He said, I watched the first scary movie last night for the first time. That's what I need to do. I need to actually sit and watch it. I know it's on this one of the streaming services because I saw it as I was going. I think it might be HBO. No, it can't be HBO Max because that's Miramax. So it's got to be what Paramount Plus, one of them shits. I need to actually sit and watch that. Not Nancy Kerrigan. uh, how's the leg? You said not me catching alive. I love Red Eye too. And you said get the audiobook as Roger Jack. Oh yeah, that's why I kept thinking because I was like, wait a minute, I wanted the audiobook. But then again, I also want to look at the pictures and stuff if there is any in there. So I have it on DVD. Yeah, I'm that old. But I have DVDs too. I haven't bought one in a long time, but I have a collection of DVDs. Like I said, I have it on DVD. That was that time when I was obsessed with Cillian Murphy. Not a horror fan, but I liked his B movie Guilty Pleasure. Yeah, I like Cillian Murphy. And I like back in the day, yeah, he was good in that movie because he was not given like the vibe that he could be a serial killer or crazy or play a villain, but he definitely played the hell out of that role. So and damn, who was the woman that played was that Rachel McAdams? Who was the chick that was on the plane? Oh yeah, I think it is on Netflix. Speaking of Netflix, they just added a new documentary about Devo. You better whip, you must whip it. Speaking of which, I think Billy Idol and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts is performing at the Garden tomorrow. You must whip it. Oh yeah, so it was Rachel McAdams. Um, Thank you. It was the dark hair. That's what kind of threw me. Because remember, I know her from Mean Girls, but she had the blonde hair. Cleveland's in the building, showing off, giving shoulder. Shoulder lean, the shoulder lean. All right, let's get into some more movie news and let's talk about, well, TV news. Let's talk about Charisma Carpenter. So, with Buffy the Vampire Slayer getting rebooted, and the rumors go, well, not even rumors, but it was just there was a story that was going around. They already, I believe, I don't even know if they're done with the pilot, but we've been hearing stories that they're shooting a pilot. We've seen Sarah Michelle Gellar on set. I've seen some of the clips and the videos and pictures and all the other stuff online. If you go on Reddit or if you go on TikTok, you go all these other places, there are people that are showing sequences. Chase what the heck was her last name? One of the girls, Chase from I Know What You Did Last Summer. Chase Sui, I can't remember her last name. She's actually in the show. I don't know what she's playing. I think she's playing a vampire. But there have been rumors and stuff that people want some of the legacy characters to come back, including Charisma Carpenter. Now, if y'all remember from watching Angel, her character was killed off, which she shouldn't have been, by Joss Whedon, and Charisma has been open about it. But recently she did an interview where she spoke out about whether or not, in a TikTok video, she debunked the rumors that she was going to be on the new show because people were asking, is she coming back? Are we getting Cordelia back? Is she going to be on the show? Miley was good. And so she said, hey, I get asked this a lot. Are you doing the reboot? And I thought I would address it. I'm not in the reboot. I'm not in the pilot. I don't even know if the show has been picked up to go to series. I assume it will be. She also addressed the launch of the new Buffy Rewatch podcast, her new Buffy Rewatch podcast called The Bitch Is Back, the name of which she dispelled was associated with any kind of return to the Buffyverse. She said it was not intended to sound coded in any kind of way, alluding to the fact that I was admitting to being in the reboot. She said people were also then commenting, oh, are you saying like it was an Easter egg a la Taylor Swift? Not at all. And Taylor Swift love her damn Easter eggs. And she also said, I have not had a conversation with any of the powers that be to include Cordelia at this point. Now, Carpenter's statement comes after previous comments she made last month saying that she was so hopeful to be included in the new iteration, given that she considered an unjust ending for the mainstay character. Carpenter's Cordelia was one of the original characters in the supernatural drama for the first 3 seasons. She continued playing the role in the 1999 Angel spinoff for an additional 4 seasons before being killed off in the 5th and final season. As evidenced by star Sarah Michelle Gellar's dual resurrections, deaths in Buffy aren't as absolute. Previously, the actress who was also executive producing the offshoot expressed her desire to bring back characters on the show who had died while ensuring space is made for new stories to tell. So look, as it was stated before from Charisma, the pilot has been ordered. They shot a pilot. They got to edit it and put it all together. Buffy fanatic Chloe Zhao is directing the script. That was written by Nora and Lila Zuckerman, who did Poker Face. Poker Face was actually a pretty good show. Chloe Zhao, as y'all probably know, directed Eternals. She says she's a fan. We need to see if the show is actually, once they put it together, if it garners interest from Hulu. I'm sure they probably will most likely greenlight it. I like the idea that they're going back to let's shoot a pilot instead of let's just greenlight 8 episodes, 10 episodes, give y'all all this money, and then it turns out to be crap. So I like the idea that they're going back to the old school idea of let me just direct the pilot, put it together, we'll give you a little money for it, and then if it's good enough, we'll sit and we'll watch it. I mean, we'll greenlight it and all that other stuff. Now, in regards to bringing Cordelia back, I hope they do bring her back because I didn't like how they treated her character in the 5th and final season, especially her being the deity and being pregnant and all other stuff in real life. And then the way that Joss Whedon kind of just wrote her out of the show. I just do feel like we need justice for Cordelia. So I would love to see her come back and see where she is in the world today and how they would actually bring her back and that sort of thing. So if they could find a way to squeeze her into the show, that'd be great. But I don't want y'all to just be bringing back legacy characters for legacy characters' sake. Because one of the things I have to say is like when it comes down to y'all bringing legacy characters and you try to spin off a show that, because that seems to be the thing now. The shows that we all grew up with and we all loved, they want to reboot them. And then you have the original people that we loved come back onto the show, but then you trying to find a way to interlink these new characters, and you end up more like Scream 5 and 6 than a legacy franchise that truly worked, like a Halloween 2018. Like, I like what y'all did with the whole Laurie Strode, Michael Myers, that sort of thing in 2018. Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends is another story. But for the most part, Halloween 2018, I thought did a phenomenal job in regarding how you bridge that gap with the old and the new and bringing them into a thing where it just worked on all, in the whole situation. You paid homage to the original, but you also had a interesting story to tell post that original story, especially when you're trying to spin it off and pay it forward with the sequel or whatever. So, or requel, whatever you want to call it. So hopefully they can get it together with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I just want to see what the hell is, if this show is good or not. So when they put it together, I can't wait till we get the show and see how it is and draw our own conclusions before we jump to conclusions. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Would you love to see Charisma Carpenter back on our screens as Cordelia Chase? I was a Cordelia Chase fan back in the day. She was kind of annoying in the beginning, but I totally understand that when you're like this rich girl who's very vapid on the outside, and we actually got to see like her evolve and seeing that there was different sides of her, especially as she matured once she started to get closer with the Scooby Gang and the trauma that happened with her with that, and then leaving high school and trying to figure out how she was navigating through the world. I just love that whole arc of what they did with Cordelia's character. So I would like to see where she would be in the world today if Joss Whedon didn't play himself and do what he did to her in their final season of Angel. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I have a sudden urge to do that. He said, Geller looks, yes, she does. And he said, I'm a 90s. As am I. I'm a child of the 80s, more or less a 90s kid. We might be around the same age. So, all right, now speaking of the 90s, let's get into Sharon Stone. Well, not literally get into her, but let's get into her story. So, Sharon Stone is busy promoting Nobody 2, which I actually liked. The only problem I have with the film, and I didn't really think about this, but they had 3 villains in the movie. They had Sharon Stone, Colin Hanks, and then they had this other guy who was like this corrupt sheriff. So y'all had way too many things going on in the movie, and it was just whizzing by so fast. We didn't really get to focus on a lot of the characters. And to be honest, even though Sharon Stone did a phenomenal job as the villain in the film, and she was chewing up the scenery, and I'm gonna say this, she was a better villain in this movie than she was in Catwoman. So I'll give her that. But while she was showing the scenery, I wanted more of her. I wanted to see her really be menacing. I wanted to see her have more scenes in the film. So the fact that this movie did kind of whiz by quickly, because I felt like the movie was like 90 minutes. It did feel relatively short. But overall, I enjoyed a lot of Nobody 2. Is it as good as the first one? No, I still love the first movie. But the second one, I was thoroughly entertained. And it's not doing all that well at the box office, but I feel like, you know what, 3 weeks later, y'all can wait till it come out on digital and y'all could sit and watch it at home, and I'm sure it'll be successful there. But speaking of that, she recently appeared, I believe, on the Today Show, and she did an interview where she was talking, where she was promoting the movie, and they were asking her about this upcoming Basic Instinct reboot, sequel, whatever the hell you want to call it, where Joe Esterhazy, who wrote the original film, is actually writing the screenplay for the new movie. And she had some things to say about it. So when news broke last month that Basic Instinct was being rebooted by Amazon MGM Studios as United Artists and the original movie screenwriter Joe Esterhazy, it was unclear whether or not Sharon Stone would return to her iconic role of Catherine Trammell. Well, don't count on it. In a new interview with Today, Stone said good fucking luck to the reboot. She said, if it goes the way the one I was in went, meaning Basic Instinct 2, then I would just say, I do not know why you would do it. I will agree with that, because you want to know something? While we love the original Basic Instinct, and they were always trying to find a way to make a sequel because that first one was so successful. I was way too young to be able to be watching Basic Instinct, but let me tell you something. I watched it. I shouldn't have been watching it because I was underage. I watched that, and I watched Sliver. Those are 2 movies from and even though Sliver was not a good movie, let me tell you something. I had the biggest crush on William Baldwin. So watching that movie, and I shouldn't have been. My parents ain't know. So Basic Instinct had me living, like, getting my life. I'm like, somebody's that underage should not have been watching the stuff that was going on in that damn movie. The murders and the sex and all that other craziness that was going up in there, and how Michael Douglas' character got so deep within that world of Catherine Tramell and her bisexuality and all that other stuff. So the things that they were exploring in that movie was quite entertaining. But with this whole situation, when they decided to make a Basic Instinct 2, that movie was god awful. So it's like y'all were just trying to capitalize on something. Y'all threw something together. They probably, I'm not sure, but I have a feeling, if I'm not mistaken, they paid Sharon Stone a shit ton of money. That's probably why she came back for it. Even though the movie was bad, and I think it bombed, she got paid a whole lot of money for that movie. So, when Today host Craig Melvin marveled at Stone's candor, the Oscar nominee said she no longer cares what anybody thinks of her and added, I'm at that stage in my life where I already retired once and I already died a couple of times. I'm like, what are you going to do? Kill me again? Go ahead. And you know what? With her being a woman of a certain age, I believe Sharon is in her 60s. I feel you, sis, because a lot of times when you get to be a certain age, you don't care what people think. And it's like, this is a dumb idea. I don't know why they're making this one. At first, I was like, you know what? If they come up with an interesting idea regarding Basic Instinct, I'll be here for it. But to be honest, Basic Instinct is such a classic. It's such a good movie. It's kind of like The Lost Boys and The Goonies. Two movies that need to be left the hell alone, and Home Alone. Three movies that should be left the hell alone. Y'all cannot revive or capture that lightning in the bottle situation of those movies. So with Basic Instinct, that was a lightning in a bottle type of thing. What you gonna do? Have somebody else up in there crossing their legs and showing their coochie? Like, we've already seen that. We know what to expect from that. So those little moments that Joe Esterhazy put in his script, and you trying to recapture that and trying to come up with a new idea, especially in this day and age with this new generation, how y'all get all uptight about nudity and sex and all, even though I know you Gen Zers be out here fucking more than I do. And I have sex a lot. But y'all be out here doing all kinds of mess, but then in real life, I mean, behind the scenes, y'all want to act like, you know, on camera, y'all want to act like prudes, but behind the scenes, y'all be bigger freaks than me. But how would this even work in this generation? Would this new generation be willing to go to the movies and want to watch people being sexual on camera? I highly doubt it. And when you look at the actresses of today, I can't see none of these women. And please don't bring up Fun Bags Sydney Sweeney. Her trying to come on and play Catherine. Hell no. I don't want to see her as no damn Catherine damn Tramell, because, well, her Trump supporting ass, y'all like to be in the closet about your bisexuality and homosexuality and being about the sex and all that other stuff. But in person, y'all want to condemn every damn body for letting a freak flag fly. So no, I don't want to see big titties out here trying to act like she Catherine Tramell, because you can't capture and bring forth what Sharon Stone brought. And Jesus Christ, this damn camera keeps going. In regards of what was going on in that movie. And also they went on to say that, now directed by Paul Verhoeven, 1992's Basic Instinct is an erotic thriller that starred Michael Douglas as a detective investigating the murder of a rock star and Stone as a seductive writer who was his prime suspect. The film was a box office sensation with $352.9 million worldwide at the box office, making it the year's fourth highest grossing movie. Stone recently revealed that Douglas originally did not want to screen test with her after they had a fight, saying Michael Douglas did not want to put his bare ass out on the screen with an unknown. This is what she told Business Insider, and I understood that. He wouldn't even test with me, but that was also for a different reason. We had an argument prior to that. This was at Con. A bunch of us were all sitting, and he was talking about someone and their kids. I really, really knew this person he was talking about, so I said something, and he responded to me saying, "What the fuck do you know?" Clearly, it triggered him, so he screams this at me across a whole group of people, and I'm not the person who goes, "Oh, excuse me, superstar." I pushed back my chair and said to him, "Let's step outside. That's how we first met." I don't think he wanted me to be his co-star. Well, Sharon Stone definitely, like, she will slap the shit out of you if you look at her wrong. And They said the tension created by their first encounter ended up proving beneficial to their casting. She said it worked great because I was not rattled if he yelled at me. That was interesting for the character because Michael has a temper and I didn't care. That worked very well in our dynamic. Now, eventually we became the greatest of friends. To this day, I admire him tremendously. And sometimes that usually happens. It's like, you got to get up in people's face because people will try to walk all over you and treat you like crap. And I was like, motherfucker, who you talking to? And then a lot of times I've been in situations like that where I'll step in somebody's face and we've been the best of friends since. So sometimes you gotta stand your ground and not let people walk all over you. And so I'm glad that them two worked it out. They were able to be friends, and I'm glad that they were cast together because that chemistry was impeccable. And you need that kind of chemistry to make this movie work. So with this new generation of people coming up, no shade, but I can't see anybody playing the Michael Douglas detective character, and I can't see a new generation chick trying to give me Catherine Trammell, or is this new Basic Instinct basically in name only, but it's a whole new story with whole new characters. That's what I'm curious about. So if it's that and it's just in name, Basic Instinct in name only, then okay. But you cannot replicate and duplicate and reciprocate and eliminate. Now I'm just trying to find words. You can't do what's already been done, basically. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Sharon Stone had to say about Basic Instinct and this whole reboot? I'm with her. And I agree with everything she had to say on that. It's like, you know what? But Hollywood, they're always going to make things, and whether we have control over it or not. But what we do have control over is if we're going to spend our hard-earned dollars supporting these type of programs. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Yo, this camera is blowing mine. I was like, let me it's on hydraulics. Why is it moving so much? I'm glad I'm doing this now before we get to another topic. All right. So let's see what the people are saying. There's a Biggest Machine Loser documentary. Not Biggest Machine. Oh, you talking about the Biggest Loser thing, and then you got that bull dagger out here talking about she's gonna take people to court. First of all, bitch, what you need to do is give up that black child because I'm sure that she's being radicalized by a lot of your stuff, which is probably you want to know. So I feel like she's raising a black child. It's gonna be like the people Amanda Seals was over here debating on that damn Jubilee situation. Because this is why I always feel like when y'all be having white people raising black children, this is what y'all indoctrinating them with, that foolishness. If y'all haven't seen that Jubilee, or if you know what I'm talking about, that's why I feel like Jillian Michaels is one of those types that's doing that with black children. So she need to go play in traffic. I can't stand that lesbian Caitlyn Jenner. Magical Murray says Basic Instinct is a one-off genre classic, a modern Hitchcock film. Yeah, it definitely gives. It's very Hitchcockian in its tone. I love Sliver. That whole idea regarding like the cameras and spying on people and that like that was before we even knew what that has become today. So just that movie was just that movie was everything. I love Sliver. It said, yes, she had a guaranteed $15 million contract. She was going to get paid for a sequel, whether they made it or not. That's why they just made it. So like, let's just pay her for it. Her right boob is lower in Does she have implants? I don't think she did. She got 2.5 million for Sliver. But yeah, we're talking about and he's saying Basic Instinct too. I could see a Racy cable series that slowly peels her dark layer. I don't think they're making a TV show though. They're making a movie. And they got Joel Esterhaus writing it, who was like in his 80s. And then you had John Roca making like comments talking about, oh, I don't think an 80-year-old man should be writing a script about basic. I'm like, he wrote the original. And if he's 80, his fucking brain works. As long as your brain still functions, you can write any kind of character you can. Who says that at a certain age, your brain stops being like, oh, I can't write a character that's being sexual? You don't think people's brains work the way? Like, what? And of course, when you're not a writer, this is stuff that you would say. That contract was guaranteed. They probably tried to, probably. Michael is known to be very loved by his leading ladies. Mhm. And look, he's still with Catherine Zeta-Jones. Shout out to her. She made 500,000 for the first movie, and Douglas got. Well, he was a bigger star at the time. We didn't really know um Sharon Stone. I think she did Total Recall before she did Basic Instinct. Because Total Recall, I think, came out in 1990. So yeah, she had done a couple of things. She did Total Recall. I forget which Steven Seagal movie she. I'm sure she's got a horror story regarding that fat fuck. Everybody has a horror story when it comes to Steven Seagal. Even Danielle Harris, who told the story about Steven Seagal, who played her father in a movie. They better not remake. No, look. That would be the one that everybody would go in and be like, oh, hell no. Even though Jaws just celebrated its 50th anniversary. And I did watch a Jaws 50th anniversary on Peacock. That's such a good movie. Even though, and I just watched it the other day. You ever watch a movie and you start discovering new things in it that you never discovered before? That was me with Jaws. I'm like, damn, I think it's because when you get so caught up in certain things, you really don't take the time to really pay attention to all the little details in a story or whatever. So I was like, let me finally actually pay attention to this damn movie. And I did. Did you see the video I sent you of Sharon talking about when she hosts the SNL? Oh yeah, no, I did not see that one. But I forgot to also bring up, you know she dated she went on a date with Nelly. She told that tea. I was like, Nelly, of all people? Now we already know Nelly's cooked. And Ashanti's stuck with him. You saw there's a remake coming of. Yeah, they've been showing that trailer a lot in the theaters during a lot of the coming attractions. Like when I went to go see Nobody 2, they showed a new trailer. I actually laughed at a couple of the scenes in that movie. Because I was like, okay, this is funny. So I actually would want to see that film. I don't know if I go to the movies and see it, but I would definitely go see it if it popped up on a streaming service. But then again, I do have a list, and you get to see 4 movies for the price of for like $27 a month. So I mean, I ain't gotta pay for it. I'm already paying for it monthly, so maybe I will go see that. Oh yeah, I did hear this story that Danielle Harris auditioned for the craft, and she was pissed that she lost it. But and then some dummy goes and says, "You're showing the picture of her in a goth outfit from Urban Legend." I'm like, "Are you fucking dumb?" Like, number one, the reason why they showed that picture is because her character in that movie, as well as Neve Campbell. Neve Campbell was a goth chick of sorts in the craft. So the similarities, they put that in the thing. Like, are you slow? But when you gotta explain things to dummies on social media, this is what happens. I don't know what was I'm on one today. It's like my energy is just I ain't got time for the stupidity today. But I'm like but then thinking about it, I was like, you know what? I would have loved to have seen Danielle Harris in that movie. But I thought Neve Campbell was good in the part. The girls that they chose, Rachel True, Fairuza Balk, Robin Tunney, and that horrible wig they had her in, but I understand she was bald in Empire Records, so they had to put the wig on her. And Neve Campbell, that core 4 dynamic of the craft, that was a great group of girls. And I can't see, as much as I like Danielle Harris, who I liked her in Urban Legend, there was a reason why she didn't get the part. There was chemistry, I guess, between those other girls that can't be matched. Here's a new tea. The Spike Lee said he wants to direct a film starring Timothy Chalamet in the future. Would you go see the movie if it comes out? First of all, I heard somebody say that they don't think that, well, I think it was also on one of the shows I was watching. They said they don't think that Timothy Chalamet's people would want Timothy Chalamet to be in a Spike Lee movie. I know Spike Lee has a new movie coming out with Denzel. I don't know if it'll do well at the box office. Spike Lee, I definitely feel like, I mean, I think Timothy Chalamet would do a movie with Spike Lee because here's the thing. During the playoffs of the Knicks, I'll be telling y'all the stuff. When I was working at the Garden, Timothy Chalamet and Spike Lee, they literally will sit and they've been kikiing with each other. They act like they're old friends or whatever the case is. So they've had conversations. They've hung out. They've kind of had a rapport with each other. Them two and Ben Stiller, because I've always seen them when they're on in Celebrity Row, as we call it. So I think definitely when the Knicks season starts up and Timothy Chalamet got a break and he want to come down to see the Knicks at the Garden when that new preseason starts up in October. Trying to remember, yeah, it's October, because September preseason for the Rangers. How did I forget their damn name? For the Rangers is in September. That's like late September. October is when the preseason for the Knicks starts. So I definitely could see Timothy Chalamet and him working together. I think he would be up for it, but they would have to find the right project. And if that happens, I'll go see it. I like Timothy Chalamet. I like Timothy Chalamet ever since he was on that there was this spy show that used to come on Showtime, and he was in the second season. That's where I knew him from. That and him dating Madonna's daughter, Lourdes. And then I started paying attention to him. And he said the Biggest Loser documentary is already on Netflix. Well, let me know how it is, because when you said Kayla said she wants to do how the internet fell out of love with Nicki Minaj, but she said the only reason she won't is fuck the Barbs. No shade. I'm just saying. Look, I always got to say no shade before I say about what I'm going to say. Do what you got to do. If the Barbs want to get mad, they get mad when you look at them funny. Like, you look at them in their direction, they got an attitude. So if you want to do something and call out the things, then do it. She just did a video on, but I did it first, on, and there's no shade, I like you, Kayla, but I did it first. She did a video on Lana Del Rey and Ethel Cain. I already did that like a couple of days ago. So I just saw she dropped that video today. And you said they don't even like any criticism towards Nicki, even though it's valid and true. The Barbs just want Nicki to be left alone. Well, you can't be talking about leaving people alone when you also be out here just going off on social media and expecting people to not respond to the shenanigans. So if you want to do a show, whatever, do it. But I say just disable the comments. Do something like that. Or just know that if you're going to do that type of topic, the type of backlash that comes with that. I tread lightly at times when it comes to depending on which topic I want to talk about, because it's not about me worrying about the fandom. Because y'all know I be going on social media, I cuss everybody out, and then I hide the comments so that way y'all don't report me and try to get me banned. But a lot of times I'm like, I choose my battles when it comes to stuff, because I'm like, I do not have time to be sitting up here windmilling with these hoes when I have other things that I have going on that I'm worrying about when I'm putting these shows together and all that other stuff. So every dog has his day. Said, yeah, sports season usually October to March, except for, baseball. Baseball is winding down because I'm currently doing City Field with the Mets and all that stuff. So baseball season is winding down. They start to wind down about next month. October, they have a couple of little games here and there. I mean, unless they go into the playoffs. But for the most part, it's like, baseball season usually winds down, and then it starts up football season, basketball season, and hockey season. He said, which proves a point that Barbs live online and not be adults. Yeah, because I told you when I worked her show at the Garden, the Barbs was cool. Like, I was having no problems having conversations with them. I said, it'd just be them online trolls. Y'all got a whole lot of smoke when y'all on the internet. But then when I be seeing y'all in person, everybody's nice. Everybody's cool. I was having a full-on conversation with this girl and her boyfriend that was at the concert, and then I ran into them again because he was there with her at City Field too. They were there to see a baseball game, and we was having a conversation. It was like, oh yeah, I remember you was at, so it was like that. So everybody ain't shady. I tell you, it's like that's why I always tell people, is the Matrix and there's the real world. And he said, I feel like Nicki is a narc. She's all about rules for thee and not for me. Exactly. She's not the only one. And I'll be calling people out like I had to go in on one of the Madonna stands because he tried to come for me to he was bored. Well, bitch, then go somewhere else. And y'all know I'm a Madonna fan, but when you say some stuff, I'm calling you out. I don't give a good goddamn who you are. I'm not cucked to any of these people. It's like you could be a fan of someone and not be afraid to call them out on some of the stuff they do. And when I went in on her for those who were probably not aware and don't follow the show all the time, it was when she said out that whole thing about the Pope going over to Gaza before it's too late. And all this, I was like, man, where have you been? Meanwhile, you over here in Italy living your best life with that La Boo Boo, which they named Madudu. And I'm sitting there like, well, wait a minute. Who done told her our little secret name for her? When she stepped out of line, the Medusa, yeah, there's a thing. I don't know if a lot of y'all know, and I'll probably bring it up again. I learned it from Kevin Aviance and Junior Vasquez that whenever she used to come step out of line, we used to call her Madudu. And somebody named her Labubu Madudu, the cake, which I found hilarious, by the way. But anyway, let's move on. Let's get into this foolishness. So Chris Pratt, who everybody knows is like the least favorite Chris out of all the other Chris's that we be, referring to. That'd be Chris Pine, Chris Evans, and Chris Hemsworth. He's like at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to Chris's. He recently did an interview with Bill Maher and basically came to RFK Jr.'s defense because he was asked about it. And when I saw this, I'm like, just when I start to actually grow to tolerate him, he said some real douchebaggery stuff that makes you want to just smack him beside the head again. Kind of like that part in Nobody 2 where the security guard smacked Hutch's daughter upside the head. That's what it was given. Except Hutch went back in and then beat up all them security guards. So Chris Pratt joined Bill Maher on the latest episode of Club Random podcast, which it seems like every time somebody goes on Club Random, they come out even dumber than they did before they went in because there's always some foolishness. And I guess Bill Maher makes himself feel like, oh, I'm a revolutionary or I'm listening because he sits and smokes weed. I'm like, okay, like who doesn't? Except non-people who don't smoke weed. But for the most part, oh, you're so revolutionary because you smoke pot and you ask dumb questions. Woody. So now he got asked about RFK Jr., who is serving as President Trump's Secretary of Health and Human Services. RFK Jr. also happens to be cousins with Pratt's wife, Catherine Schwarzenegger, who you know was the child of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver. Now, in conversation with Maher, the Guardians of the Galaxy actors spoke favorably of Kennedy, noting they often avoid politics at family dinners. Well, I think they always tell you when it comes to family dinners and stuff, there's two things you don't talk about. You don't talk about religion and you don't talk about politics. And for the most part, I don't, because I know how I get if people bring that stuff up at the table. You're going to end up hating me afterwards because I'm a realist when it comes to things, and I can't stand people who lack critical thinking skills. Like, that really grinds my gears. So he went and said this. Shout out to The Independent for all of this, by the way. He said, I've spent a number of occasions hanging with him in a strictly family dinner kind of vibe. I really got along with him well, and I think he's great. He's funny. He's wonderful. I love him. Well, those are like the people that, that the cool uncle that then comes to the barbecue and it's like they're the life of the party and they say funny stuff and they're entertaining. But then when it comes to the things that's going to affect people's lives, that's when it becomes a problem. But when you're looking at someone like Chris Pratt, who is a celebrity, who is in Hollywood, who lives in a bubble, who's in a position where a lot of the policies that the Trump administration, and especially when it comes down to someone like RFK Jr., is pushing forth, it's not going to affect him financially. It's not going to affect his family situation. It's not going to affect his bottom line, especially when doing all those Jurassic World movies and those MCU movies. That man is loaded. So with all of this being said, it's not going to affect him at the end of the day. So now when it comes to the negative media attention Kennedy has attracted, the Jurassic World star, who is 46, noted that in politics you inherit enemies. And said, quote, and when you jump on the bandwagon with the most divisive president ever, it makes sense that you are going to be made to look terrible. So I don't know what to believe about his reported policies. It's not like I say to Bobby, let's talk about this while we're playing cards or having fun or having dinner. I'm not going to pick his brain to find out exactly which of those things are true. I just assume that none of them are. For the most part, I wish him well. That was just a whole bunch of damn words. Like, what are you, Pete? You and Pete Booty Plug like besties? Like, y'all say stuff that y'all try to make it like y'all saying stuff, but you saying nothing but a bunch of goddamn word salad. And to me, what I don't get about this whole thing is like, oh, well, yeah, I'm not going to bring this up or playing cards or whatever. Yeah, because it doesn't affect you. And usually what we've noticed about people is that they'll vote for things if it hurts other people, but if it don't affect my bottom line, if it's not going to affect my money, if I'm not going to have to pay a whole lot of high taxes, then I'm going to go with them people over there. And then when you go and say something like, in politics, you inherit enemies, and say that you jump on a bandwagon with one of the most divisive presidents, people aren't just jumping on a bandwagon to hate Trump for the sake of hating Trump. I wouldn't have a problem with Trump if Donald Trump was pushing forth policies that weren't taking things away from the American people, or going that, oh, those people in those blue states that didn't vote for me, screw them. We're not going to give them any kind of aid, any kind of help. I'm going to push forward authoritarian type of situations because we're going to take back DC because crime is high. Mind you, crime is down low, and you got all these military people just going around trying to flex their authority because this is what you're telling them to do, and trying to talk about you about to take over New York next. I don't fucking think so, sir, because that's not going to happen. New Yorkers, we ain't going to put up with that. They may put up with that shit in California, and it's cute or whatever that Gavin Christopher Newsom is doing his little trolling and all that stuff with his little tweets and things of that nature. But New York, we are a whole different breed out here. We don't put up with that, and you know it. Which is why your ass decided to leave New York to run down to Florida, because you are hated down here. And he was hated down here. We were on his game long before he became president. We tried to tell y'all, but y'all didn't want to hear it. So learn the hard way. This is, I'm in my fucking around find out era. So we try to tell y'all. So I wish you well too, sir. But let's get back into the thing. Now, we also said there are things that RFK Jr. oversees that seem to be supported in a bipartisan way, identifying that some policies he agrees with, like getting terrible toxic stuff out of kids' food. Now, you know I got something to say on that, but I'm going to just keep going. He said, I think that's a great thing. If you just do that, that's amazing. Much of Kennedy's Make America Healthy initiative has targeted ultra-processed foods and petroleum-based synthetic food dyes, which he labeled as toxic and dangerous to occur to our children's health and development. He also is an outspoken vaccine critic, previously promoting conspiracies that childhood vaccines cause autism. Well, what happened to his brain? Because didn't he used to be a former heroin addict, and the bollworms, that's a Flash Gordon reference, got to his brain. So you talking about picking his brain, he ain't got shit left up there. So what the hell you gonna pick? They also went and said, I'd hate to be so mirrored in hatred for the president that any success from his administration is something I'd be having an allergic reaction to. To be like, oh, well, if they do it, I don't want it to happen. I'll put Clorox in my children's cereal myself. I believe it. Be reasonable here. There's certain things that would be a good thing to have. I want them all to be successful, which he's not. And I just want to know, I need y'all to name one thing that this idiot has done, pushing a policy forth that has been detriment to the American people. I'll wait. This whole, about over 45% of Project 2025 has been successfully pushed forward. So if that's what y'all doing and y'all think that that's a success, okay. And if this whole thing regarding, what's the word? There was, owning the libs. Cause that's you're just owning the libs. Oh yeah, we're owned, all right. You owned us. I mean, first of all, I'm not a fucking lib. I'm very left in what my policies are. And I'm talking about left as in people like Hakeem Apac Shakur Jeffries or a Chuck Schumer, because they are not left. They are center right. A lot of their policies, yeah, they're Democrats, but they're dinos. They're Democrat in name only. They're not real die-in-the-weeds Democrats. A lot of their policies have leaned more towards the old guard of Republicans, the Reagan Republicans, the Dick Cheney and Liz. I mean, why do you think that when you saw Kamala Harris, she was aligning herself with a lot of those policies? Because that old Republican guard is no longer around. Now it's about the GOP. They're more of the Republican extremists. When you look at Democrats, a true die-in-the-weeds Democrat will be someone like a Zoran Mamdani, who has progressive ideologies in regards of what he's trying to push forward. Medicare for all and health, Medicare for all, healthcare, same shit. Affordable apartments and things of that nature, or free, care for kids where they're not having to deal with a baby, having to spend hundreds of dollars on a damn babysitter, like stuff like that. Free child care is the word I was looking for. Apparently, I get so pissed off about people who don't know shit about politics that I start to lose my, all sense of trying to put my words together. So, Pratt's wife is the daughter, as I said, of Maria Shriver, whose mother, Eunice Kennedy Shriver, was a sister of Kennedy's lawyer father, former U.S. Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, who was probably doing somersaults in his grave over how his son turned out. Now, while Pratt framed his remarks as an appeal for bipartisanship and reason, You know the critics had to go in and let have on his. They ate him up. And let's read some of the comments. So one person said, my nonprofit paid for the final year of a girl's graduate degree because his family member, RFK Jr., stopped the NIH grant funded that was paying for her research. Another person went on to say, policy changes rarely ever consider the actual people they hit. The way funding moves can quietly wreck so many plans on the ground, but mostly only see the surface drama. Another person went on to say, remember when people were like, stop being mean to Chris Pratt, you don't know his policies, and then he goes and says something like this, LOL. Another person said, but I don't know if they were being sarcastic or if they're dead ass with this, but they went on to say, what a star he is. Thank you, Chris Pratt, finally unlocking the Hollywood corrupt vessels for speaking out on things most leftist propagandists would be hissing over. This is a great step for the industry to finally see that even their biggest stars are finally not being afraid. Okay, I think they're really serious with that. Then another person went and said this is my favorite. What a tone-deaf a-hole. There's nothing funny and wonderful about cutting cancer research and funding while firing teams of experts so rich people can get richer and sick people can die. Because, yeah, that's what you're forgetting. And now, here's what I had said, because I had to write a whole situation on it. So, because I had to do the research. Because I was like, when I was thinking about this, I was like, if I'm going to sit over here and go in against what Chris Pratt has been saying, I had to go and do the research and remember exactly what were the things that people have a problem regarding a lot of the conspiracy theories that RFK Jr. was spewing. So this is a clear example why some actors, in my opinion, should be seen and not heard. This is also why he's been touted as the least favorite Chris out of Hemsworth, Pine, and Evans. I'm also not taking advice from someone who allegedly cheated on his wife, Anna Faris, and allegedly abandoned his firstborn special needs child to start a new family with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver's daughter. The reason people have a problem with RFK Jr. and why he is the black sheep of the Kennedy family is because of the medical misinformation he has spread throughout his political career. Now, during his confirmation hearings, senators revisited his past comments on anti-vaccine rhetoric, unscientific remarks about Black people's immune systems, and other false medical claims. In recent years, RFK Jr.'s focus has been on promoting conspiracy theories, and his claims have earned him a reputation as one of the leading spreaders of COVID-19 vaccine misinformation. There is a long political, social, and economic history of misinformation shaping the public narrative about Black people, and Senators also Brooks and Warnock brought needed attention to this history. Racist discourse, which deemed Africans and their descendants inferior, supported the enslavement of Black people and reinforced white supremacy. This denigration led to racist and dehumanizing medical practices with lasting consequences for Black people. Public health research led by Aya Nuruddin and others showed the racism is a fundamental detriment of health outcomes and disparities, and that racist policies and practices have also been integral to the information of medical science in the United States. Nuruddin and colleagues at Johns Hopkins University and Johns Hopkins School of Medicine detailed the long history of racial injustice and inequality in healthcare, including medical segregation, the excluding of Black Americans from medical training and educational opportunities, and the exploration of enslaved people's bodies in medical experimentation, leading to the development of entire medical fields like gynecology. These racist attitudes towards Black women persisted into the 20th century through eugenics laws and compulsory sterilization practices in several states in Puerto Rico. These practices led to thousands of Black, Latina, and Native American women being subject to involuntary surgeries. Another example of medical racism is the violation of medical ethics and human rights by the U.S. Public Health Service in the Tuskegee study of untreated syphilis in the Negro male. The 40-year study conducted from 1932 to 1972 involved hundreds of Black men who were treated for so-called bad blood without their informed consent. Yet, even after penicillin became a known treatment for syphilis in 1945, treatment was withheld from the men. The egregious nature of Tuskegee's study led to the development of medical ethics, regulations, and review boards designed to protect human participants in medical, social, economic, and other research. Another notable violation of medical ethics due to racism is reflected in the history of Henrietta Lacks, which you know was a movie that was made with Oprah playing Henrietta. She was a Black woman with cervical cancer whose cells were taken without her permission while receiving segregated care at Johns Hopkins Hospital in 1951. Her cancerous cells, known as HeLa cells, contributed to medical advancements worldwide, but the use of her cells generated financial profits for scientists and institutions without comprehension to her and her family until 2023. Now, given the healthcare system's long history of reinforcing racial stereotypes, Kennedy's confirmation could lead to greater mistrust from the African American community. So also I will say this, because I had to point all that out, and that was research that I did in regards to this whole situation of misinformation he was putting out there. Now, if they were so concerned about wanting Americans to eat healthy as this whole thing about make America healthy again, or MAHA, whatever the fuck he wants to call it, then they should be making it affordable for American people to buy healthy products. Also cutting SNAP programs for people struggling to take care of their families, cutting school safety inspections and school lunch programs for poor kids doesn't help matters as well. Now, don't get it twisted. Trump didn't pick RFK because he was a real concern for wanting to take all the toxic stuff out of kids' food. Trump only surrounds himself with loyalists to his cause, and Trump only cares about doing the bidding of billionaires and corporations who make millions off of keeping people sick and addicted. And if there's someone who knows firsthand about addiction, it would be RFK Jr. And that's all I'm going to say on that. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? It's like, yet again, Chris Pratt, this is why you should just be seen and not heard, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I don't care how many babies you put up in Catherine Swords a damn nigga. If you're going to come out here and start speaking out on things you don't understand, just keep your mouth closed, just put your head down, do your movies, because you are making it really unlikable when you're making yourself really not to be liked. And another thing I'm thinking about, because didn't Zachary Levi cook himself to RFK Jr. was like all about his policies and stuff? Where's Zachary Levi today? So y'all gonna do to him, or y'all gonna Zachary Levi Chris Pratt? Because I don't know if outside of Star-Lord, anybody gives a good goddamn what the hell Chris Pratt got going on. I mean, he's not doing the Jurassic movies anymore. Now they done passed that on, especially with it making all the money it made at the box office. That's now Scarlett Johansson's situation. So she's taking on that mantle. So now you out of a gig, except you have that Terminal List show, I think is a season 2 they're supposed to be doing with you and Taylor Kitsch. That's supposed to be coming out, I think, next month, or probably at the end of this month on Prime Video. So he's got that going, but other than that, it's like, I don't think you that big of a draw as you once were. I mean, that movie you did, The Electric State, with old girl from Stranger Things, that movie was a huge bomb. I mean, it was dumped on Netflix anyway, and I heard that the budget was $300 million, and that movie was critically and commercially panned. But then again, nobody really knows. I don't think Netflix even cares, regardless of what they do. They just throw shit up on their streaming service anyway, and they don't even care whether or not if it makes money. It's just, I guess, a tax write-off to them. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Good chat. That was a lot. They try to go into that whole situation. He said, valid but true. The Barb just want Nikki to be left alone. I think I read that one, right? Oh, yeah, I did. Not as an acquired language. When Chris Pratt and celebrities say dumb stuff, I'm like, where's Raleigh Freeman? The snap? Okay. Every family either has a felon, black sheep, or someone who is mentally undeveloped. And you want to know something? The funny thing is, you said felon, black sheep, or someone mentally undeveloped. He's all three of those. You would think it'd be one or the other, but it's like, no, you check every box, sir. I'm the same way. I don't bring up religion and politics either. I'm always too rebellious for those who live in a bubble to deal with. Yep. There's a guy on this season of Big Brother who's getting backlash and people are creeped out by him. There's a girl he is obsessed with and acts different around the other people in the house. He said, yeah, Pratt, your soul value just dropped 80 points. We don't need the president to have an issue with this man. And he is anything but okay? Well, especially when you're intravenously injecting yourself with the grease from freaking, the fries the McDonald's French fries. That's what it seemed like you're doing. Trump tried to take over DC, and the police chief is still there. The chief is suing Trump for that too, but I haven't heard of that. Well, yeah, That's the thing with him too, is like everybody they wrap him up in lawsuits. You already know, because the legal system is so damn slow in this country, it's going to take years for all of that to go through. So Trump is just causing, he's a chaos demon. I've been saying that for the long. Like, he just causes all this chaos and just wraps people up in years of litigation. He's exhausting. Like, he's just a energy vampire. Well, he doesn't spend time with the son. That's what I said. What I said regarding him and that kid. Yeah, same. But I tolerate it because I like Guardians of the Galaxy, so I just put up with him because I like the cast. But him personally, I don't like him. I mean, I don't know him personally, but just based over the things that he said and things that he has put forth, like just whenever he opens his mouth, it just dumb shit pops out. And this is why I heard people say it just doesn't make sense to me that how you have people who are the antithesis of being liberal or liberating people or wanting people to have things. You're playing those characters in movies, but you don't live by that in real life. So between him and Gal Gadot, it's like, y'all are the exact opposite of the characters that y'all play in these movies and in TV shows, which is weird. I'm like, if that's some sort of like sociopathic thing, y'all get off on that. Like playing characters that you can't even live up to in real life. Basically, the Dinos was Democrats 30 years ago. Okay. It says Schumer and old Republican Guard is my mom's generation. I'm super progressive, and my mom voted for Kamala while saying a lot of homophobic and child. You said cutting the cancer teams reminds me of when all the historians at the Smithsonian and National Archives were fired a while ago. That's also trying to remove anything black from it. Oh, not only that, but then they got rid of public access television, and now they're trying to move in this new type of. Damn, I forgot the name of what it's called, but they spread propaganda in regards of like trying to erase our history and stuff, and talk about how like slavery was a good thing. I'm like, what? Like the misinformation you're feeding these kids, and I'm like, and I see why this recent Jubilee episode with Amanda Seales talking to these black conservatives, I'm like, the fuck happening? Like, what is happening to our generation? I am so glad I grew up in the generation where, well, one, I didn't have to deal with school shootings because I graduated in like '99, and that was like before like Columbine and all that other mess. And I didn't have to deal with a shitty, education system. Now it's like our education system has gone in the toilet. Like, what is happening to the world? Interesting. Pratt publicly praised the RFK while married. Okay. And that's what I was saying too. Like, he's a black sheep. The family don't even like him. So was you lying to Bill Maher up there, or do you really be having meetings and hanging out with RFK Joe? But then to me, you can't tell me based off of that he didn't vote for Trump, because I know not Robert F. Kennedy. I know Chris Pratt gives me like you voted for Trump. If Kennedy supports Trump and you support Kennedy, what does that say about you? Exactly. If they really cared about children's health, they make groceries. Yep, that's what I was saying. I was like, look, if y'all would make it easier for people to access all the healthy things, which would be lettuce, tomato, like to make a salad, that stuff is expensive. Vegetables are expensive. If you want people to eat healthy, make it accessible for them to buy that. Also, when you're cutting SNAP programs, like you're cutting food stamps, parents are having a hard time struggling to make ends meet. I just saw this video of this girl on social media talking about that she tried to take her own life and spend a week in the hospital because she had kids at such a young age. I think she's like 23 with like 3 or 4 kids. And talking about like how it's hard to make ends, like she's struggling and being a single parent. And I'm sitting there thinking in my head about like, don't they have programs to pretty much help you like get yourself on your feet if these things happen? But then I keep having to remind myself that they cutting all the programs. So they're making it hard for people to get a leg up or to get themselves. You can't sit there and tell people to pull themselves by the bootstraps when you done took the bootstrap. So how people gonna pull themselves up and make a life for themselves? And this is coming from people who were born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Trump ain't never had to struggle a day in his life. He inherited what he got. RFK inherited what he got. What the hell's her name? The one that's Caroline Levitt? Which one is the one that married that old ass man that basically allegedly was abused? Like a lot of them perverts and pedophiles that's run up in the White House. The press secretary. Hmm. And so, I can't come up in here and not give people the education and let Chris Pratt be look, he gonna be the only dumb Chris we gonna talk about on this show. I can't come and be equally as dumb. Even though we share a name. Food deserts. Wait, is that deserts or desserts? I don't know. Sometimes like deserts as in like food is scarce, or is it desserts as well? I guess you would have put the extra S if that's what you meant. So we'll just go with that. Food deserts seem like the least expensive, while billionaires can afford. Or maybe I'm having a brain fart and you meant desserts. Can afford healthy food and keep their weight. Well, not Trump, because you see how fat he got. He look like he be eating the whole damn cornfield. And you see them cankles? Shout out to Jennifer Welch, who refers to him as Kenkel's McTaco Tits. I was like, damn, I'm so mad I didn't come up with that one. And it was and RFK Jr. has lied numerous times. A YouTuber did a 1 hour video on it. Child, but I don't know. That video, I think I did half. So I didn't even do it. That's probably like a good 20-minute rant. It said Netflix has a prepaid audience. Box office is never, yeah. And they're all about quality, not quantity. I mean, quantity, not quality, because quantity is like the amount of like just flooding the zone with stuff. Quality, there ain't a lot of quality programming on no damn Netflix. It's interesting about Pratt's current career. He seems to be the most successful as far as visibility career. So while being an outspoken conservative, well, we'll see how long that lasts. But I don't know if he's a box office draw though. But he could always go into streaming and all that other stuff. Chris Pratt and Gal Gadot not being their on-screen characters are just like the homophobic politicians who end up getting out. Child. Exactly, especially that queen. What's his name? The one that just said that they need to go into black neighborhoods and take them all out. That one. Oh, I looked at him. I was like, oh no, I know you in the closet. I know you got a grinder profile or a scruff profile, and there's probably no face or whatever, but you hit people up. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of my prostitute friends that probably slept with him too. I recently the Russell Stover sugar-free chocolates, that everything. Oh, maybe I need to taste that. The Russell Stover sugar-free chocolates. I do like sugar-free chocolate. And you said I first remembered Pratt from Everwood. Oh yeah, I forgot when he was on. Wasn't he fat during that era? And when he was on The Office, you say he was better than Best in Small Doses. Oh yeah, it was PragerU. Thank you. It was is that propaganda thing you're talking about? I couldn't remember the name of it. And you said, mm-hmm. McCankles and fries. According to them, but I'm like, wait a minute, I don't be spending a whole lot of money on eggs. Like people be bugging, but then again, I be having people telling me that, oh, in my neighborhood, it's like I can get like 17 for $2.99. I'm like, well, damn, maybe I am overpaying. But it's New York. New York taxes, we in a whole nother bracket when it comes to prices and taxes and things versus everywhere else. So, but yeah, the Kanko's taco tits. But anyway, let's lighten up the mood because that man done pissed me off. But I don't know if this is really going to be lightening the mood because then I don't want to go in on her too bad, but ma'am, you doing the most. Let's talk about Britney because Miss Thing is out here being a mess. I don't know what's going on. First of all, what happened to her teeth? I don't want to accuse. Y'all think Britney's a practicing Methodist and put meth in caps to know what I'm referring to. Or maybe y'all don't need to because I just pretty much told you what I was referring to. So y'all think Britney a practicing Methodist because her teeth look a mess. I don't know what's going on with her teeth. She's wearing these outfits. Well, usually she be wearing the Gerber baby panties, but not in this one because I want to give you a full picture. What are those shorts she got? What are those? We usually point to the shoes when we talk about that, but what are those? Them shorts she got on? No hips, no ass. And then she be looking a mess. She's always in that foyer. Where's her furniture? The house look a mess. She was singing a Prince song. I didn't even know it was a Prince song because I literally got into my Coco Montrese bag and I was like, find the note. Like vocally, she was all over the place, but clearly she hasn't been singing for a while. She just be making all these little noises, sound like a goat being anally raped. And she just be out here being a mess. And so at what point are we going to sit up in here and when Britney put herself in these situations, why we always have to take the higher road and be like, we can't address the elephant in the room? I'm just asking a question. Why we can't address the elephant in the room when it comes to Britney out here being a hot mess? She's putting herself in these positions. If you want to go out and be a mess, if you want to do your drugs, if you want to have your little mental breakdowns, whatever the case is, do it off camera. But if you're going to do it on camera, we going to talk. And there's no shade. I'm just saying. But then I'm starting to think maybe all of this stems from, I blame her damn father, because if you didn't put on that damn lithium and you wasn't out here frying her damn brain, she wouldn't be behaving the way she's behaving, because y'all wanted to keep her in that conservatorship and you was using her as a damn slave. So the 43-year-old songstress, not actress, well, I don't know, with all that messy singing she was doing, I won't even call her a songstress anymore, who recently suffered a wardrobe malfunction in a peekaboo dress, filmed herself wearing a skimpy ensemble, and showed off her, I feel like I'm trying to be funny, showed off her vocal skills to her 41.8 million followers. The Baby One More Time hitmaker belted out lyrics to her own rendition of Prince's song Kiss, although her tone appeared off-key at some moments, or appeared to be. At one point, Britney could be heard singing, yeah, that's exactly how she sounded, while adjusting a large light next to her camera. She wore a brown bralette top. I feel like she's worn that top before. That had a white polka dot pattern, as well as a plunging neckline in the front. The songstress completed her look by slipping into a pair of mini white shorts and black knee-high boots. Clutter could be seen in the spacious living room behind her, and towards the end of the clip, an adorable pup strutted behind Britney in the background. And if you look at that floor looked like it ain't been mopped in a month of Sundays either. Now in the caption, the singer pinned to her fans, I would say Julia Roberts singing Prince's Kiss off key a touch, but I sounded really good behind the lens. Okay, girl, you delusional. PSS, wise asses. I do know who I am, she added, referencing to the lyrics she had been singing. I have 8 different languages written on my neck. These are my PJs, but I put these boots on to play with lighting. Not the most elegant look, but hey. Why do you need to put boots on to play with the lighting? Like, I had to work on my lighting before I did this show, and I ain't got no shoes on. Now, in a second video, also shared on Monday, the performer explained that she was in the midst of cleaning her abode, but decided to take a quick break. After I just read her for having a dirty ass floor, but let's get back into the story. Now, they said Britney also belted out more vocals for her followers as she adjusted the camera and lighting. Messing around with lighting and cleaning my house like no tomorrow, the star wrote in the caption. Britney rarely sings in her social media clips. She barely sings live too, and instead will showcase her dance moves. Most recently, the toxic songstress donned a very revealing gold mini dress and had a large cutout around the bust area in a reel shared last week. But as she moved in front of the camera, the star suffered numerous nip slips, but made sure to add flower emojis for coverage. It comes not long after Britney's ex, Sam Asghari, took a swipe at the star's ex-husband, Kevin Federline, as he prepares to release a tell-all memoir titled You Thought You Knew. Now, here's the thing. I didn't even know that Sam Asghari even said anything about Britney. Where the fuck about, well, I guess because I've been focusing on so many other topics that I didn't even know that he said something about Kevin. But here's the thing: for the most part, other people have said things regarding me talking about this topic. People have been in the comments when I've posted the articles on it. People have been saying stuff. So a lot of people are not really here for this book. I mean, I'm not either, but I will be talking about it when all the tea comes out, close to when the book is released. And we'll talk about it on the show and what's in the book, because then y'all can get enough of that feel instead of having to spend money to give him that money, because why else would Kevin Federline be writing a book? He's no longer getting well, I don't even know if he was getting spousal support. He's no longer getting child support for them 2 kids he had with Britney. Like, they're of age now. So he's got to have some kind of income coming in, to family income, because his wife, I guess she works out in Hawaii and he needs money. Mr. Popo's out to get back out and start DJing. The Give Me More hitmaker was previously married, as you know, to Sam from 2022 until the divorce was finalized last year. In December of 2024, the singer was declared legally single. Britney also tied the knot with Kevin in 2004 until they split in 2007. The former couple are parents of sons Sean Preston, who's 19, and Jaden, who was 18. Now, while out in LA earlier this month, Sam shared his thoughts about Kevin's book while talking to TMZ, saying, "Well, he was a professional father, so he would be great. It would be the first book that'll tell you how to be a professional father." Let me find out Sam know how to read. Cause like, yeah, if you want to be able to get you a Britney and have somebody be a professional dad and make money off of raising them babies, while you know Britney paid you to take care of them kids and get them taken away from her because of whatever was the reason. According, if you read her book, you know all what's transpired in The Woman in Me. So with all of that, it's like, yeah, you're gonna, I guess, give men out here the rules on how to be a professional father, because that's what not Sam. That's what Kevin excelled at, being a damn baby daddy, raising them babies off Britney's money, and then the son's got a problem with her. But it's like Britney is a victim of many circumstances and people taking advantage of her. All the shadiness and things I've been saying to her about why she is the way she is today aside, we can get serious for a second and just call out like she is a victim of the many people who have failed her. This industry, the people that took advantage of her, of this sweet Southern girl, her no good ass parents, and the men that she got in relationships with, and especially that tight ass backup dancer. And Britney was probably looking at this as her form of rebellion because of the way the industry was treating her, the way her parents wouldn't let her do anything. So I'm rebelling. I'm using it, and I'm gonna, maybe she meant well, but I'm sure that in another side of her was like, you know what, this is me as growing up, and I don't want to be treated like a little girl, a sweet little kid anymore. I want to rebel. I want to go out and smoke, and I want to do things. I want to get with boys. I want to, all the things that you do when you're from a small Louisiana town, or if you're from the South or the Midwest, wherever, and not like from a metropolis like I am. You want to rebel and you want to go out and be able to do things without people trying to tell you what you can do all day. And that's what happens when you're a young person in this business and you are a cash cow for Jive Records and other people. And people are depending on you to take care of them because you are the boss and they're making money off of you. So she saw Kevin and many others as a sign of rebellion, but she didn't probably know that Kevin was going to allegedly do what he did to her and take advantage of the situation. And also went on to say there's never, ever a need to take advantage of anybody. We all go through this life and we all go through different chapters and you meet people along the way and they're a big part of your life. He also said you're just always thankful for every moment that you spent with people in the past. And I know there's some people out here who have a problem with Sam Asghari or whatever. I never really had a problem with him. I never thought there was anything negative to come from Sam because he's never really said anything remotely negative about Britney. In so many ways, even in interviews, he always seems to come across as very protective of her and not saying anything negative. But if people are asking him questions about her, because yes, if you look at it on paper, his claim to fame is he was attached to Britney. He was married to her. So yes, because she is the bigger star, there are always going to be people that are going to ask him things about her, even though he's trying to carve out his own career. So yeah, if somebody's asking me questions, I'm going to answer it. Some people need to look beyond that. But I think some people are so used to Britney being used, but I think that he was one of the ones that genuinely cared for her. It's just that with these Britney isms that we be seeing on social media, sometimes that could be too much for somebody to handle. And it's like, I can't. Like, there's only been so much I could deal with all these little manic situations that you're doing. But yeah, this looks like that child support dried up real quick, and Kevin needs a little cointadas. So that's why we are where we are. So now I want to say all this to you. What do you guys think of this story regarding Britney and all this mess that's going on with her, and especially Kevin got his upcoming book coming out and all that good stuff. So I want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. $9 for 3 dozen. Oh, well, damn. I don't think I've seen a $9 thing of 3 dozen. I'm sure if I went to Costco and got 3 dozen eggs, it's probably gonna cost like $20. So true. I'm from Jersey, and New York's 6% clothing tax used to drive me crazy. You and me both. He said, yes, I feel Britney's a Methodist in the name of Juggy. You can take the doll out the trailer park, but you can't take the, okay? Because she definitely gives trailer park. She was bipolar the whole time, spun around so many times, she just can't stop. If you want to have you, I said, if you want to have your mental breakdowns, do it off camera, okay? Okay, that's what I would say to my coworkers too. Because I don't think she should be back in a conservatorship, but I do want her to be taken care of and safe. As for this, Britney is always rage baiting. She knows people will, yeah. So, and that's what, and you know what? That's what I hate about, well, I don't like, I should say, about certain people when it's like, if you know what you're doing, if you're trying to do things to bait people, then don't try to act like, don't get mad and be like, oh, they're picking on me. It's like, that's what you're asking for. You want people to respond. So we're responding. So deal with the consequence of the responding of the situation. And stop trying to be like, don't sit and put stuff out there and then try to play the damn victim. Pappy Spears and Kayfabe worked her like a slave to get that conservatorship. She was a slave for them. I blame them and these meth ex-Christian struggles. Okay, diet by Red Bull and Skittles, because that's probably what it is that she eating. Because I don't know if she eating solid foods. The most famous women eventually turn into the crazy lady next door. Mm-hmm. Should we put Courtney Love in that conversation? I had to give her a serious side eye. Britney has been in too many headlining shows to have struggle outfits and struggle rooster. I was intentionally singing off key just to sound like how horrible she sounded. When I watched that video, I was like, what the fuck is this? I even had to share it on my Facebook. She should have invested in the stock market and kept it humble. I do wonder how she has income and stuff coming in, because I was thinking that too. Like, if I'm not ever going to work again, and I don't expect her to work again, like, live your life. But I would have did that too. Like, I would invest my money in like the stock market and things of that nature, or real estate, so that way I could constantly have money coming in. Yeah, their sons are of age now, and their son Jaden is trying to become a music producer, which is interesting. And I need to hear if he knows. Have you made a beat? Well, I know he know. I think is he the one who knows how to play the piano, and she was impressed by his piano playing skills. So maybe he knows how to produce himself. But I need to hear something before you know. And she got connections in the industry. She could definitely help him. And Sam Asghari is reading like one of the girls. Not you out in Casper, smart child. Because I know Casper like girls with a little something extra between me down there, if you know what I'm saying, and I think you do. Women that got twigs and berries. You said, I love how people have forgotten that she had a. I think she said that was a lie. I don't think she adopted an actual kid. Yes, Britney was exploited by everybody, and whatever happened to that married man she was dealing with. Oh yeah, she got rid of him. Thank God. Not Jean Benet Spears. I was friends with bitch. You said not relevant to anything, just wanted to throw that. No, I mean that's relevant to the conversation. You said you knew Sam's sister. What was Sam? Did you ever meet Sam? What was he like? That's like 6 degrees of Britney. If you know the sister, look, if they could put Travis Kelce's mother on the Traitors when she has nothing to do with any kind of celebrity except you pushed 2 famous people out of your vagina, then that's part of the conversation. The upcoming season of The Traitors, I should say. Britney will always be my top 3 with Janet and Madonna. I have accepted the fact that she will probably never release new music, even though I really want her scrap 2015. Yeah, I've come to that realization too. If I ever want to get back to Britney, I just don't want her old music, and we have what we have. Same thing like with Rihanna. I don't even think she need to release new music. Stop stringing people along though, and try to make them think that you got new music coming out. It's like I've come to the realization: if you don't want to put out no more music, then don't put out no music. Sam was a person trainer before he knew Britney. Yeah, and then how they met, he was in her slumber party music video. And he does seem very protective of her, which is good, which is why I've always gone in and said, but I know some people that still be just going in on him because they're very protective of Britney. But I'm like, no, I've always felt that he genuinely cared about her. It just didn't work out. All right, y'all, let's move on. And let's talk about Wendy Williams. How you doing? So, former talk show host Wendy Williams, as y'all know, is trying to do away with her guardianship. And, because her private life is being controlled by a bunch of others. But she recently just did an interview where I think exclusively with Page Six. And she's trying to say, like, she wants to just go out and do certain things in New York, be a part of the whole socialite scene, which I think would actually be good for her. And a lot of her friends who are insiders in Wendy's little circle said that she's back to being the old Wendy amid reports of recent medical tests indicating that she has frontal temporal dementia and aphasia. So Williams and insiders around her continued to refute reports of the alleged diagnosis as the battle over the talk show host's mental health rages on. She seems fine. She's witty and she's getting healthier. It's like old Wendy, a source told Page Six. Now, Williams hit the town in NYC by dining at one of her favorite Italian restaurants, Tucci, on Saturday, which she and owner Max Tucci phoned us during dinner. So, yeah, we did talk about that yesterday where she was spotted at Tucci. I thought it was Stanley Tucci. I'm like, Stanley Tucci got a restaurant? No, it was Max Tucci, who has a restaurant. Damn, I thought I had that picture right here still, but apparently I got rid of it. So we're just gonna have to stick with this picture. We also in that wig that was given Tina Turner and the Ikettes. Like it looked a little like on the cheap side, but it was hot out in New York. So even if you teased and popped that wig till the cows come home and gave it like the whole drag race zhuzhification, it was so damn hot outside. It would have sweated out anybody's perm. So the former radio host even greeted Page Six with the signature "How you doing?" catchphrase. She certainly sounded like the old Wendy, as multiple sources continue to have previously described her. Now, a post photographer caught up with Williams before she entered the restaurant, and she explained that her attorneys were highly upset with reports circulating about her health. When asked if she had any words for the conservator, as I've stated previously, she said, "All I want is to say hi to my attorneys, Alan Diamond and Joe Tacopina, and I will get out of my guardianship." Now, insiders told us Wendy, as in Page Six, Williams has to be extra careful when speaking to cameras because she doesn't want to jeopardize anything or suffer backlash from the conservator. That's why it's always talk to my lawyers. And I actually agree with that because there's been situations where Wendy has, I think that was like when that time when she was out with Joe Tacopina and she was saying something in regards of, I don't know, it was just something they was having a conversation about. And he wound up like I guess grabbing her hand and kissing her. And I think it was because wait, hold on. Oh, I was trying to see if I could still find the picture, but whatever. I'm giving up. But I just want to continue talking. So he kissed her hand or whatever, and I could tell based on the tone is like, let me handle it because we don't want to jeopardize. And then I'm glad that they put it in word speak because I was like, yeah, basically on the body language, he was like, kissing the hand or whatever, trying to be like, I got this, let me handle everything because let me speak on your behalf because people are going to try to find a reason to say she's not of sound mind. We're trying to get you out of this situation. Just leave it up to the lawyers. And I be saying this all the time when it comes to stuff going on with celebrities. I'm like, let the lawyer, if you have a lawyer, let the lawyers do what you pay them to do. Let them handle the stuff. Stop out here running your damn mouth. Because a lot of times, y'all don't know what y'all saying. You're going to say something that is going to be used against you in the court of law. And then you're going to be out here looking a fool. Or it's going to affect you down the road. So just be like, keep your mouth closed. Let your lawyers handle what they need to do so that way we can get you out of this guardianship. Like I said many a times, if y'all can let Britney out here in them old boy shorts and them Gerber panties twirling in her damn foyer, looking a mess, like she just sucked on the glass pipe full of meth. If y'all gonna let her do all of that and sing off key to a Prince song, then y'all need to let Wendy live her life and do what she need to do on her own situation. So insiders also said that. I did read that one. So let me get to the next thing. So now they said her focus is she wants out. She wants an apartment in New York. She wants to be back in society. She wants to be able to get bagels and lox, just like the simple pleasures. She do love her bagels though. They said she want to go to Fashion Week. Williams also wants her makeup. They also said beauty entrepreneur Laura Geller has been supplying her with lipstick and eyeliner. Meanwhile, she has been getting her societal fix by frequenting old and new haunts like Fresco by Scotto. That would be Rosanna Scotto, who is a Fox 5 reporter, I should say. She has her own restaurant in New York. Then we have Tucci and Delmonico's, where she celebrated her 61st birthday last month. Now, Wendy, who battles hypothyroidism and Graves' disease, has also been relying less on her scooter, though she has been photographed with it. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna still be out here running around like I'm, Mr. Meals on Wheels in my little scooter. They're like, look, there's people out here who's fully healthy and legs not an issue that be running around here with scooters. Never, yeah, we got whole scooters and stuff around in New York. I know when I lived in LA about 4 years ago, there was a big scooter trend thing going on. It probably still is, but now I'm seeing more of them have been popping up in New York. It used to be the city bikes. Now everybody out here doing these damn, scooters. Additionally, she's become more spiritual, and they said she attended Sunday church services in Brooklyn, which she loves being a part of. Well, here's the thing: if you're spiritual, your ass ain't going to church. Church is for religious purposes. Spirituality, you can formulate and embody that at any place, anytime. She also was with that damn what do you call it? I was trying to find the words when it come to Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton, I'd be side-eyeing his ass, especially when him cooking behind people like Andrew Cuomo when he's problematic. They said he paid her a visit and prayed with her at her living facility, saying she sounded like Wendy. She just didn't sound any different. She wanted me to try to help her. This is what he told them at the time. Now, Williams Power attorney Takapina further told Page Six back then that her cognitive abilities are completely intact. She's going to get out. We have resources. We have options. If Williams gets her way, she'll be back saying, "How you doing?" on her own terms by winter, insiders hope. In the meantime, the Witty Chat Pro will reportedly remain under the current conservatorship until at least November. And I know a lot of people have been sitting there wondering, like, why is November the most important, month that they want to keep her under this guardianship? And I do feel like, you know what? I'm gonna keep saying it until the cows come home. Do I think she needs to be in a conservatorship? No. I do feel like there needs to be things in place where you have a financial advisor, someone to keep track of, like making sure people not taking advantage of her money because she's in the current situation she's in because her damn son was spending $100,000 plus on Uber Eats and things of that nature. So she's been caught up in this whole situation regarding that. So y'all need to try to find a way to have somebody who can keep her on the up and up regarding her finances. Also, someone who's going to make sure she can get to her doctor's appointments, that can, make sure she's taking her medication and things of that nature, making sure that she's on the up and up. Just having somebody that can keep like a round the clock nurse or something or another that could be able to help her out, or an assistant, something or another. Someone who actually has her best interests at heart and is not going to be out here using her, which seems to be the overall theme regarding her and Britney Spears, or just people who are in high profile situations in general. So, do I think Wendy is as sharp as she once was back in the day? No, I don't. So all this other stuff they saying out here, I'm side-eyeing y'all. And I'm like, y'all know damn well Wendy is not the same old Wendy. But I don't think that she should be in this guardianship. I don't like what is the whole process of what has happened to her in this guardianship. So I do think that she needs to be taken out of it. So I ask all of you, what do you guys think of this story? What Wendy says? I would like to see her get back into society. I would like to see her go on a fashion week and things of that nature. She is, at this point, a New York socialite, kind of like Kelly Ripa and Sarah Jessica Parker. Like, she's like one of those. She is a New York society girl. And even though she's from Jersey, but she is East Coast through and through. And I do think that there are people out here who genuinely love Wendy Williams, and she's respected. And I do feel like she should be out here living her life on her own terms, but have policies in place that's going to keep her on the straight and narrow and not have people taking advantage of her and her money. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments, not follow-ups, in the comments down below. All right, y'all. Let's see what the people are saying. I only knew Faith for a song. Oh, okay. Oh, that's her name? Because I only knew Faith for something. Never knew she was Sam Sisters during. I only found out after. Oh, okay. Wendy is doomed. The writing's on the wall as long as she keeps indulging like she's in her I never know what to believe regarding Wendy's health. Some say she's fine and some say she's never been the same. Yeah, I get like that too. Sometimes where it's like it's all over the place. I try to always try to see the brighter side of it, but yeah, it's hard when you keep hearing conflicting reports. But it's her attorney, who of course is being paid for by Wendy. Of course, they're going to come to her defense and stuff. And then you have these conservators that are saying something else, who are also profiting from Wendy. So lawyers are paid to advocate. When celebrities speak, they affect their cases and get backlash. I bet she could barely. Yeah, that's why I said she needs a financial advisor, because I don't think she could manage her own checkbook. Because if she could, she would, Lil Cat wouldn't have been out here taking advantage of her while she was in her most vulnerable state. Meaning, like when Big Cat was out here laying low and spreading it wide for over 15 years with Sharina, to the point where he got her ass pregnant. They couldn't hide the fact that he was out here being a whole cheater and living a double life anymore. Because Wendy knew about the cheatation that was going on, but and then the self-medicating and all this with the alcohol, to the point you drinking whole bottles until you pass out. Yeah, that is affecting you, because when you drink alcohol, that dehydrates you. And also when you have blackout situations where you don't remember what happened the night before, those are signs of dementia, where you're forgetting things, where you don't remember that happened. Those are slowly putting into place, and we don't think about this at the time, how all that will lead up to possible alcohol-induced dementia. He said Wendy was in her scooter due to her lymphedema. And said she shouldn't be in the conservatorship, but she does need an accountant. I also feel she should have live-in medical care. Exactly. I do feel like she needs live-in medical care. So that way, round-the-clock nurses, or somebody who's going to make sure that she takes her medication and takes care of her and do all the things she needs to do. She needs that. And like you said, when you say accountant, I was just like a financial advisor. But yeah, accountant, same shit. And not them people over there watching her money at Wells Fargo, which is actually my bank. And like I was saying, it's like, yeah, they do put a cap on how much money can be used in your account before it sets off a red flag. I have a cutoff of my money too at Wells Fargo. And when they start to notice that all money that comes out, you said, can we talk about Good Boy October 3rd? I did hear about that movie. I don't know what it's about, though. I think I saw it on Bloody Disgusting had mentioned it. I haven't seen any trailers or anything on it, but I did see, as I was scrolling through, that there was a mention about this movie. I need to look more into it before I can say anything about it. All right, y'all. Let's see. Where are we going? Okay, so we got about 4 more topics left until we wrap up today's show. So before we get to our final 4 topics, if you have not already, if you can please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Right after the live stream, I will be putting in timestamps so that way those who watch the playback can go into the description, click on which topic tickles their fancy, and watch whatever topic that they want to watch, instead of having to sit through all the banter that we do during the live stream, which I appreciate, by the way. I love all y'all that be up in these comments and kikiing with me with the mess. So without further ado, let's get back into the show. Let's talk about Lady Gaga's doppelganger, who some people say is Madonna's doppelganger. That would be Lady Gaga. But we're going to talk about Ava Max. Now, one of the things that we can say about Ava Max is that since she came out with Sweet But Psycho and all these other songs, she has been getting a lot of the Lady Gaga comparisons, from her looks on to her music, even down to the point where Gaga worked with Ava Max's producer, Circuit, on Mayhem. So I guess Gaga's kind of looking at it, well, bitch, if you're going to steal my whole situation, I might as well work with the producers that was giving you my sound. Even though technically the person that was giving her sound was Red One. What happened to Red One? We ain't heard from Red One in a month or something. Can you look at this picture and tell which one is Gaga and which one is Ava Max? But anyway, so shout out to Rolling Stone, because they was the only one that posted this story. So I was like, oh, I need to bring this on here because this would be juicy. So apparently a leaked snippet from Ava Max's upcoming album, Don't Click Play, say that 10 times fast. And look, we already did a whole story about Ava Max MIA because her album's coming out this week and she hasn't been promoting it. The songs that have she released as singles, they've all flopped, and we don't know what's going on with her. And I do feel like, at the end of the day, while I like the idea of Ava Max comes across as just some average random pop girl that the type of song she sings, you could put anybody on it. You could put Rita Ora on it. You could put BB Rexa on it. You could put Demi Lovato. And I said Themi, because that's the word that Onyx, friend to the show, be calling her. So you can put any of these other random pop girls on a song, and it all sound like any one of y'all can sing, and none of y'all stand out quiet as it's kept in the type of music y'all sing. But nevertheless, let's get into the story. So they said, Rolling Stone said the following: it wouldn't be an Ava Max release without a pre-release leak. That is true because her last two albums, Diamonds on Dance Floors and Heaven and Hell, both those albums had to be delayed because of leaks that transpired from those albums. On Tuesday, fans of Max circulated an unreleased snippet from her album Don't Click Play's title track, in which she directly addresses the hate and comparisons to Lady Gaga that she's faced throughout her career. A source confirmed to Rolling Stone that the snippet is real, saying she samples singing Gaga imitations. Can't kings and queens look good with poker faces? She sings on the track, referencing her own hit Kings and Queens and the Gaga favorite, But I'm Loving Myself Even If You Hate It. Max has addressed the comparisons to Gaga in the past, especially related to her appearance. In 2023, she told Nylon, quote, no matter how many haters there are out there or people who want to bring you down or people who think I'm a Lady Gaga comparison, which is hilarious, she said at the time. Who doesn't love Gaga? I can't help that I look like this. I was born the way I was born too. Oh, she was born this way? She also says she's 5'2", but here's the thing: Gaga's actually 5'4". She's not 5. Oh wait, isn't she 5'4" or 5'2"? What was the name of the damn the wasn't it a Netflix documentary that she came out with which referred to her height? Well, this is continuous. So she said, I can't help that I'm 5'2" as well. Like, what do you want me to do? Dye my hair black? I did that. And then they started comparing me to Dua. You can't win. Well, Lady Gaga did have brunette hair at one point. Both Max's debut LPs, Heaven and Hell, and her sophomore album Diamonds and Dance Floors were pushed back for release because of leaks. And Max has addressed her music's proneness to making it way online before release in the past, saying, I have a lot of demos I've written that are not finalized records, and I appreciate it if you stop leaking these records like this one, she asked fans in January. The Don't Click Play leak comes just days before she's set to release her album of the same name after she's been absent from social media for weeks. Last week, the same source who confirmed the Don't Click Play leak told Rolling Stone that Ava's third studio album is in fact still set to be released on August 22nd despite her absence. Rolling Stone also acquired the track list and credits for her 12-track project. The LP features songs titled How Can I Dance, Take My Call, Skin in the Game, The World's Smallest Violin. Most of the project was produced by Pink Slip and Iverness. Don't they sound familiar? I need to look up who they've actually produced stuff for. I would have personally have liked her to get back with Circuit, but I guess he moved on and he started producing stuff for a lot of Mayhem, including that new song that they said that they worked on for the second half of Wednesday season 2 that's supposed to be coming out. We haven't heard the song yet. I mean, there's snippets that's online, but we haven't heard it, the full song. Then they said she also released a trio of singles: Lost Your Faith, which came out in February, Loving Myself, which came out in May, and July's Wet Hot American Dream. And then when she dropped Loving Myself, she told Rolling Stone that the song came from a moment where I finally realized I didn't need anyone else's validation to feel whole. She said, I've been through a lot of phases in my career, highs, lows, public scrutiny, private growth, and through all of that, I started to understand that the most important relationship I'll ever have is the one I have with myself. Well, good for you, sis. And I hope the songs are good. so far, I haven't really been impressed with any of the singles you released, but I'll listen to the album when it comes out this week and get my overall assessment. If you're really given what needs to be given in regards to the tracks, I mean, I definitely enjoyed Diamonds and Dance Floors. There was some songs that was on Heaven and Hell. I'm like, okay, these songs is cute. Even though too many of the damn singles you released, it was like sample heavy, but from the first album. And then the second album, yeah, you had a couple of those songs, but I thoroughly enjoyed Heaven and Hell. Not Diamonds and Dance Floors. That was the one I liked because there was a lot of good songs on that album, and I would work out when that album came out. I would work out heavily at the gym to that record. So, I thoroughly enjoyed the record, but I just feel like, yeah, it's just like you don't really stand out as an artist. So, yeah, the Gaga comparisons, of course, that's going to happen because if you really look at it for this generation, millennials, and even some of Gen Z, Gaga is the most successful artist of that generation. She is the Madonna of the millennials and Gen Z, whereas Madonna is the Madonna of, you know, Gen X, maybe some boomers, but Gen X, some millennials, even Gen Z has started to discover her. So, her career spans 4 decades. So there are people out here who are relatively appreciating Madonna's work. And the funny enough, shout out to Steven Stereo. I've been liking a lot of his videos too, because he does a lot of reaction videos. He just started discovering a lot of Kylie Minogue's music. I'm like, boy, where have you been? Like and he reacted to some of her performances at her X World Tour, which I love that tour. Um, I never got to go see it, but I've seen it on, I've seen the videos and things of that nature, like the full concert. It's on YouTube. So that was how I was able to watch it. I remember I even bought a DVD copy of it, but it was such a bad copy of it. It was an import, but the copy was really bad. So I'm glad that now it's on YouTube and you can actually watch it. But that concert was everything, especially with her coming out on the skull and all that other stuff when she did like a drug and so many other things. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I like some of Gaga's stuff. Y'all know I throw my little shade every now and again, but that's what everybody gets it on this show. But look, which is why I'm going to have to throw another dagger. And it's no shade. I'm just saying. It's like, look, all I'm going to say about this is now, Gaga, you know how I feel to take someone's entire shtick and pass it off as your own, from Madonna, Grace Jones, Bowie, and Lena Morgana. So that's what I'm going to say on that. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of, some of the things that Ava Max has said in the past? She was like, okay, I get the comparisons, but I'm doing my own thing. And I guess, it's like, if I'm going to be compared to somebody, at least I'm getting compared to someone as iconic as Gaga. I mean, even though your music is not as memorable. I was trying to find another word, but I guess memorable is what we're gonna have to go with. Even though your music is not as memorable as a lot of Gaga's biggest hits, like Just Dance, Poker Face, even most recently Abracadabra and all that other stuff. Like if you don't have those type of bops where it's like 20 years, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now, we not bumping to, we might still be singing Sweet But Psycho. I mean, I probably would be. But all them other songs, I don't know. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Speaking of comments, we got a lot of comments up in here. Let me get to those. Mm-mm. What happened to Space Cowboy? Happy 17. Oh, damn, I was like, yeah, that's how long, that goes to show that's how old, how long her career has been. 17 years in the game, almost 2 decades. I said, nope, you all sound the same. Double A. Hey, we're gonna say, hey, she looks like a heavily filtered Lady Gaga. No leaks, the music just not that good, and there was no traction. Or maybe this is Rolling Stone trying to help her sell some music. Hmm. Very true. There are so many pop girls who don't stand out. I'm a 90s baby. I still play my old Nelly Furtado CDs and then switched to MIA, Gaga, Christina Aguilera, and then Olivia Rodrigo. Oh yeah, those were the days where it was like, yeah, we had Nelly Furtado, and then we have MIA. I still listen to MIA's music. Azealia Banks can go play in traffic. I don't listen to that trash box no more. Gaga, Christina Aguilera, Christina has an acquired taste at times because, her songs are hit or miss. The Fame Monster is even better. Yes, it is. Damn, Gaga really did what needed to be done. That was a good era for her too. Gaga is oh yeah, she is. That's why I was saying, like, when y'all talking about brunette and this and that, same thing like Madonna. Madonna's a natural brunette. She's not a real blonde. They dyed their hair. I've seen old photos and things of Stephanie Germanotta. He said the music's the mhm. Well, they're not gonna shelve it. It's still coming out. It's just she ain't getting no promotion. I love Sweet But Psycho, and another song Ava did is In My Head and My Heart. What's the name? Is that the name of the song? But haven't kept up with her in a minute. I wonder how the album will do on the chart. It won't do that well. Yeah, they're not. No shade, but a lot of these new acts, y'all really aren't giving me what needs to be done. I remember reading somewhere years ago that Gaga went blonde when she was starting her career because she said that as a brunette. Yeah, you could definitely see the Amy Winehouse and then the whole Lena Morgana dark hair and all that other stuff. So yeah, she bleached. I heard this, and also yeah, she definitely gives Snooki. I don't know why, but Ava looks like a cross between Gaga and Madonna in one person. To me, she could easily pass for either one. Remember Ava from that Sweet But Psycho, but nothing since. I don't always feel like, yeah, that's sometimes like, if you really have to stand out for me to want to pay attention to you. Yes, she is. Still being Madonna. We're about to talk about her still being her in this next topic. Boomer, Gen X, and Millennials. They say you're late if you were just getting Kylie. Kylie is the 80s. Only Gen Z get a pass not knowing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I gotta find out how old Steven in stereo is because he was like, yeah, he wasn't really familiar with a lot of her stuff. There was a lot of people who really wasn't familiar. But look, I told her she sold out 2 nights in Madison Square Garden. So you knew everybody knew who Kylie was. Like, she is definitely someone who has had a really big following in America, but I guess they didn't think she was big enough to be able to do a tour here, which is why she did a little mini tour about 10 years ago, which I did go to her shows when she came here. That was during like the Aphrodite era. And he said, even my 62-year-old mom, who rarely listens to the radio, was obsessed with Sweet But Psycho months after I told her about it. But even she's on to Conan Gray, Teddy. I love, look, y'all, well, you probably don't even know this, but because this is the first time I feel like we've conversed during a live. I love the new Conan Gray album. I didn't, yeah, I mentioned it. I was like, I like the new Conan Gray record. It's really good. It feels very confessional. And Teddy Swims, I only know one song from him, is that she better get out of this comparison. Rihanna had enough sense to make sure people did not compare her to Beyonce. Exactly. So she decided to go more, I'm going to be a little edgy. I'm going to be a little more rebellious. I'm 29. I've known about Kylie since 2005 when Can't Get You Out of My Head was in the Lincoln MKX commercial. I've been a fan ever since. You have to get out of people's shadow and be, yeah, you got to find that thing that helps you stand out. I never understood the Gaga comparisons to this woman. They both make that's probably where, and I think that's where the comparisons come from. They both make this Euro-centric electro pop music. And then also, remember, with Gaga, she does like the ma 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 type of stuff. And if you listen to Sweet But Psycho, there is a ma 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 ma, like that part that's in there. So there's a lot of those little isms in there that I guess that's where the comparison started. And then they kind of favor each other visually and things like that. So I think that's probably where the comparisons probably stem from. He said, but Gaga is gothic and appealing to the widow. And that's what it is too. It's like Gaga's angle is more or less she's kind of taking more of a rock and roll sensibility. She appeals more to the underdog and, the gays and little monsters and all other stuff. It's going to be real interesting working this concert this week because as much as I've seen her shows, whatever, I've never been in the midst of a Lady Gaga concert, so I don't know what to expect from that. But I'm looking forward to this. It's gonna be real interesting this week when she hits the Garden. And you said that was a song that revived Kylie's career. She was well in her 30s and she was that girl. Yeah, that was definitely the Fever era, definitely revived her career. And that was like right after what happened. Well, I can't say that's not what happened with Impossible Princess. Because after Impossible Princess, she did Oh my God, what's the name of that damn album? It was a dance pop record. It wasn't that wasn't like the On the Night Like This was on that record. I cannot, why did that name of that album escape me? No, she doesn't. Speaking of music girlies, whatever happened to Elle King? I'm trying to remember who that is. See, that's the problem. You said whatever happened to Elle King? She was supposed to be the next big thing, but anyway, she's oh, you forgot all about her. When you said Rob Schneider, so now I know who she is. The only thing they have in common is that they're both fake blondes with brown eyes, which is only I said Britney is a fake blonde with deep brown eyes. Brit is a natural brunette. A lot of these girls aren't natural blondes. Stephanie Germanotta is her government name. You mean Stephanie Joanne Germanotta? Sabrina is really the only natural blue-eyed blonde I could think of. Madonna isn't it? No, she's not. Oh yeah, Million Dollar Baby. That was a good song too. Thank you, Light Years. Because I was like, Light Years was the comeback record of sorts, and it was successful overseas, but the Can't Get You Out of My Head, Fever era, I remember like that just like really brought her back, and that was because she was trying to find ways of being taken seriously as an artist because of the whole Stock Aitken Waterman thing, and so she wanted to be taken seriously as a pop star, and it took that moment for her to have that. And I like after that, she didn't go and repeat herself. She started experimenting with different, genres of music, from X to so many other records. Which I do love that X record. That is such an underrated album. The album was Light Years in 2000. Spinning Around was my favorite song from the album. Paula Abdul turned it down. Well, Paula is a fool. But then again, Kylie done picked it up. So one thing about Kylie is that even if she don't write the song, she knows how to take a song and make it hers. So I know everybody gets caught up in these. Oh, you're not a real artist if you don't write your stuff. I'm like, I don't have to write every damn thing. If I partake and I'm creative in other ways in regards of like my music, be it the visuals or whatever the case is, I do partake and participate. And so I don't have to always feel like I have to write every hit that I come up with. And I love that Kylie is humble in that opinion where it's like, y'all find me some good songs, I'll put my voice to it. Like you said, I have the 2 disc version of Fever. I think I have. Oh no, I don't have that one. I got I actually bought the imported version because I wanted that album so bad, and America was so late, as they always are, with releasing that record, that I wound up buying the import. I was like, I'm not waiting. I'm about to import, and they had extra songs on there. They had that Butterfly song at the end, so I was like, that's why I bought it. And then when the album came out again in America, then I bought it. So I bought 2 versions of it because I was like, I ain't care. I had disposable income. I was young and I was just like, I just want to support. I wanted her to be successful in America. Oh, that's why you picked the whole Onyx the X. It was that from the X was from Kylie. I never knew that. Not another fake blonde. Wait, I think Kylie actually is a blonde. Because when you look at old pictures of her, she has like blonde. I don't think she's like blonde, like platinum blonde, but I think she is like blonde. Like, funny enough, like you can't even tell, but if you look at the roots of my hair, like on my certificate and stuff, it says I have sandy blonde hair, which is weird. But if you really look at like the roots of my hair, you can see like the blonde up in there. It just my hair protrudes dark. But she wrote "Spinning Around." And Kathy Dennis wrote a lot of big hits for Kylie too. So, I love when we have our little Kylie conversations, but let's move on and get to the queen. And by queen, I mean Madonna, who is celebrating her birthday. She's turned 67 over the weekend, August 15th, and she was out in Italy, and she celebrated, and she had herself a little Labubu cake, which they named Madudu. Now, oh wait, hold on. I hit the wrong button because I was trying to take that out. I don't know if you can say it. Where it says Madudu. I'm like, wait a minute, who done told her that we call her Madudu? Now, I know I was saying this off thing, but now I'm gonna say it while we on the thing. And Madudu is actually a name that I started to use because when Madonna used to come out of pocket with certain things, there was some celebrities, Junior Vasquez and Kevin Aviance, who used to refer to her as Madudu. So That's why I took it and ran with it. So I know they trying to do a play on the Labubu by calling her Madudu, but sis, you using Madudu, that's not what it means. That means something completely different according to people in certain circles. They used to call you out on some stuff, even though Kevin did pop up on stage with you during the celebration tour, during the little Vogue moment. So Madonna, or Madonna, as I like to say, celebrated her 67th birthday over the weekend with a wild birthday bash in Siena, Italy, where she danced the night away in a sultry pantsless lingerie look. She was very much giving I know I hate this term because of Michelle Visage, but it was given like old guard Marie Antoinette tease. She didn't have the big high wig on. It was given very high society, very Amadeus. Like it was given kind of that whole vibe with the look. Like I was very much liking that whole Victorian. I don't know why I couldn't think of the damn term. I guess I was being lazy with it. Like Michelle Visage, but she always tries to say everybody that wears a little Victorian look, they're Marie Antoinette. I'm like, there were other people that existed during that time besides Marie Antoinette, sis. But so they went on to say, for the festivities, the Material Girl slipped into a pastel pink lace corset top, which she left unbuttoned at the bottom to reveal her coordinating silky underwear. Madonna, who is joined by boyfriend Akeem Morris, who's 29, topped off the lingerie moment with a long, high shrine duster jacket in a pale pink hue. She was drenched in diamonds for the special occasion, including a luxe, chunky choker necklace and dangly earrings. Madonna's bright red lipstick popped against her soft pink ensemble, while her platinum blonde hair was shinier than ever. Saying, quote, my dream for many years has been to watch the Palio horse race in Siena that takes place on my birthday, August 16th, since 1482. She captioned in an Instagram clip documenting the celebrations. Now, speaking of Instagram clip, I did have the clip. Let's go over to her Instagram and take a look. If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna mute it because there's music and I don't want to get demonetized. But yeah, so you get to see all the festivities and stuff that was going on, where she's been videoing a snapshot of what's been going on for her birthday, spending time with family and friends. I think she also celebrated Rocco's birthday as well, because they're both Leos, which is probably why they was button heads, because when you the same sign, you already know how Leo and a Leo butting heads. You already know, but that's her son, so she can't deny him. And to see like the dancing and stuff, she's spending time with her children, David Banda and the girls, having a good time and dancing and seeing the fireworks and all that good stuff. So Madonna's out here living her best life. She also went and said, a truly sacred ritual to witness thousands of people hushed to a silence before the race begins. The race itself is impossible to describe. Grazie mille, I think is what I meant to say. Dreams do come true. Happy birthday to me. Ciao, Belle. Ciao, Italia. Because you know she is Italian. Now, the legendary musicians Madudu Labubu birthday cake nodded to one of her most iconic looks to date, her Jean Paul Gaultier cone bra top circa 1990s. Reading, Happy birthday, Madudu! The gigantic plush toy looking cake had a pointy design inspired by her light pink top from the Blonde Ambition tour. Now, we already know nobody celebrates a birthday like Madonna. I hope to be as rich as she does so I can have me these kind of parties where I could just get up and go wherever at any time and have a big celebration with as many people as possible, my friends or my family. And yeah, I want to be Madonna age at 60 something, having me some young trade and having me a little La Boo Boo cake. And you can call it Chris Susu. I don't know, some stupid on with some dumb name that we can come up with. But the case thing, this is like this stupid Labubu trend. I so don't get it. But I've always been the type of person that has never really been caught up on these dumb trends. Between those and the Beanie Babies and Furbies and the Treasure Trolls, I was never into that stuff coming up. But if you like it, I love it. Now, speaking of liking it and loving it, Madonna, I need you to hurry up and let us know when we coming out with this album. Because I know a lot of people saying that we probably not going to get it to 2026 because when Taylor Swift comes out with a record, everybody has to hold back and not want to put out nothing. And I'm sitting there like, first of all, Taylor Swift is not the judge, jury, execution of all music. People can release stuff, and if you want to buy Taylor Swift stuff, you can buy her stuff. Like y'all went and bought up all them damn vinyls that she released, and they said that she sold them suckers out in an hour. Congratulations. This is me playing the world's smallest violin, but also it's like other people should be able to put out things too and not have to worry about, well, we can't multitask, we can't buy more than one record. So Taylor Swift can have a little fun, and maybe Madonna, I do need her to release this Confessions Part 2 record because Confessions turns 20 this year. Came out in 2005. So we need something. If you're going to give us a sequel to that, we need it this year. I don't want it coming out in the 21st year. It doesn't make sense. I need, with me, if I'm in this whole situation, I'm all about like anniversaries and birthdays and things. I mean, although Mariah says she don't celebrate birthdays, she calls them anniversaries. I think I'm about to follow her with that. Because I don't want to remind her that I'm getting older, even though it's just inevitable for all of us. So I say all this to say, when you guys singing this story in regards to Madonna out here living her best life, and I'm glad that she is, because you know what, she's been through so much. We almost lost her, back when she was sick, and the whole era of her coming out with the tour and everything. I want to know what's going on with this biopic with Julia Garner. She ain't getting any. I mean, she is still young. She's in her early 30s, but we need Julia Garner in this movie as Madonna before, and she's red hot right now. So this is like someone usually using her cachet and the fact that she's in 2 big movies this year, Fantastic Four and Weapons, and this should be the thing that y'all using her to get going, to get this movie off the ground, and as well as the new music, because, as long as the icons have something to say, I want music from them. As like I said, as long as you have something to say. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Not Madonna and those roots. I was like, yeah, she was blonde-ish, and Kylie has never aged a day. Her sister Danny Minogue also has an impressive catalog. I love Danny Minogue. Neon Nights is like one of my. I mean, even though I like a lot of her other stuff, I do. Neon Nights is the album I listen to cover for cover. Put Anita on it, vibe on. I love all those damn songs. She was more the sleazier Minogue sister. So while Kylie would be sensual and demure and mindful with her music and be a bit of a tease, but was a little more PG-13. Danny was a little rated R with her stuff. So that's what I liked about her. I mean, you had a whole song about a vibrator. So it was like her songs. I mean, her sister Danny Minogue also has an impressive catalog. Her Love and Kisses album is iconic. Another No Skips album. Madonna and the we're not going to talk about her roots. We said Madonna has children, so of course she stays in. So yes, she is. We manifested it. I still don't know what a labubu is, and I don't want to. we manifested Madudu. He said at this point she is Madonna. She is the one. She definitely is the last of her kind. One of my friends always says, when he's in reference of like what he was saying is like protect our icons. He always refers when he tells them Madonna, he always says she is the last of the Elm Street children. So that's what he always says, which I always get a kick out of. Because when you say she is one of the last of her kind, when you say that, that reminds me of when he would say she's the last of the Elm Street children. It's like, I just heard about the Labubu doll craze this morning, but you are side to side of Madonna and the waiting back to wearing lingerie, very Madonna, especially since it's August and she popped out of that wedding cake. There's always a little reference to something that she's done back in the day. I first heard about Labubus when someone offered to give Katy Perry one at one of her Japanese shows. Somebody told me that Labubus were a thing back then, and then they started to make a resurgence. I don't know, because I don't follow all these trends, but I heard like it was a thing before, then it died down. Now it's a big trend again. Was she proud of that? Very high society, kind of Gilded Age, or even like her VMA performance with the Marie Antoinette out. Oh yeah. Which shout out to Pink Pantheress, who said that her recent music video was inspired by that VMA performance. Madonna's outfits are also, are a hit or miss for me sometimes. Yeah, I agree with that. But I really love her birthday outfit. And the one thing I like about her is that people tell them, you need to dress your age. Why you wear certain things? Madonna don't care about all that. She's like, you know what? I am 67 years old. I feel youthful. I'm not going to sit and dress up like a damn. She did that high society shit when she was married to freaking Guy Ritchie, and she was trying to do that because she was trying to be demure mindful for him. But then I guess she snapped out of it and realized I ain't trying to be this old high society chick. I got to be me at the end of the day. Like I'm the rebellious girl, and I'm all these other things. I'm sitting there trying to be all posh for you. If you wanted posh, you should have married Victoria Beckham, but she was already taken by David, so you couldn't get her. But he got him a new woman who nobody knows because she ain't famous like Madonna. So when you have somebody like a director, like a Guy Ritchie, who is famous in his own right, but you marry one of the most famous pop stars on the planet, I'm not dimming my light for you. Like that same, you know what that reminds me of? That same mess with David Justice, talking about how he divorced Halle Berry because she wouldn't cook or clean. I'm like, who the fuck you thought you was marrying? Like, I'm not supposed to be sitting at home being barefoot and pregnant and mopping your damn floors every time that you scuff it. You got me all kinds of effed up. Wait, you said what is going to be the first single from The Life of a Showgirl? Oh, that's coming out this month. Okay. 10 days. Debbie Mays posted a picture of Madonna and her together while she was in Italy. Oh, so she's been hanging out with. Oh, yeah, Debbie does live in Italy with her husband. What's his name? Massimo? He said, by the way, is Madonna working on a new album? Yes, she is. He said, I did really love her song Rise from the Pandemic. Yeah, she's working on a new album with Stuart Price, who directed. Well, he has directed a lot of her music and her live shows, particularly Celebration, but ever since Confessions and actually Drowned World is when they started working together. But yeah, he's back to he came back to produce this new album, which is why she's referred to it as Confessions Part 2, which got the fans excited. Oh, you wanted her to do the more Madam X thing? Funny enough, I always talk about how Madam X is my least favorite record, which has changed. Now my least favorite record is MDNA. Dated EDM. Yes, she does. Compared to all the other men she had in the past, he said even if he may be clout chasing, that TikTok they posted a few weeks ago was hilarious. Good point about Taylor's rollouts. Is just like every artist pushing their release dates back when Adele does her rollouts. But Adele says she ain't coming out with no music in a while, right? She taking her time. She running behind that man she got. Yeah, Sorry is a good track. It said Mariah and Doja Cat's album comes out the same. Ooh. Well, look, I'll be listening to both. Artists push their releases back because they know Taylor is going to play games. Oh yeah, she is, and then they be feeling like they don't like when they call her out on that, which is why I saw this video of this guy that was calling her out that you know what the vinyl situation, the way that you people, especially like a Taylor Swift in her position, is going about it. I don't like it because vinyl is like a one of a kind type of print that you can put on that. You're releasing like these 7, 8 different variants, which you forcing your fans to buy all of these just so that way they can have this collection. But then what it does is it hurts independent artists, people who have to go out and print out their own stuff. But then I was hearing some people saying, like, you know what? CDs need to make a comeback. Like CDs are cheap to produce, to replicate, and create all that stuff. And I would love to see CDs make a comeback. But the problem is, if a Taylor Swift decide to jump on that bandwagon, you're gonna make it hard for a lot of us, independent artists who want to press music and stuff on a CD, and then the CD price is gonna go up. So I like the idea of vinyl. I like all these different things, but yeah, the variant thing, I don't like it because y'all make it hard for the independent artists to survive in this thing. And I don't know if she looks at it that way. Yeah. I mean, I think Madonna will always tour, but as far as like if she got something to say and she wants to come out with new music, I feel like she will. I just hope it doesn't suck. Yeah, I like Isaac. First of all, I like the live performance of Isaac in the Confessions tour. I can't remember which song on Confessions was the one she hummed on. That one too. Yeah, it's called Isaac. He said if they do the movie and Madonna put out music, win for both. Well, the problem is Madonna needs to not want to direct it. That's the problem why it's been hold up. She wants to direct. No, I don't need to direct the movie. If you help write the script and all this stuff, that's great. But as far as directing, I think you need to find someone who is good at directing biopics or something, like maybe even a John Chu who's supposed to do the Britney biopic. If you could have somebody, and he directed both Wicked movies, if you could bring somebody in that will be able to do that, like a Dave Meyers or somebody, that would be cool. I don't need you getting behind the camera. We've seen the movies you directed, and it wasn't it. I like you as an artist, music and stuff, but as far as directing, leave it to the professionals. And you don't really have that track record when it comes to filmmaking. So they're not going to trust you with an $100 million budget directing your own movie about your life. No studio is crazy enough to do that, especially when you have studios now pinching pennies. Look, Tom Cruise wanted damn near $200 million for a movie he's doing with Ana de Armas, and they looked at him like he lost his goddamn mind. I was like, you want to know something? Yeah, you was the box office draw back then. And another thing, sidebar, I just saw that they released a new Mission Impossible Final Reckoning movie. That just came out on digital today. So, and I saw that in the movies. It was all right. I was disappointed. So, yeah, he ain't coming back. I think they're about to reboot Mission Impossible without Tom Cruise because it's the end of an era for him. I think people are ready to move on from that. Nobody wants to see this man who's like in his mid-60s still trying to do super spy stuff. Although we do want to see Keanu Reeves still being John Wick. But you said Ray of Light, Magnum Opus, Motherhood was the best thing for her career. Yeah, because it was like once she had Lourdes and stuff, it definitely brought out a different perspective creatively. My top 5 Madonna albums are Ray of Light, Erotica, Confessional on the Dance Floor, Bedtime Stories, and True Blue. Look at you picking out the good ones. I'm really deep diving into her 80s music right now after falling in love with her. And falling in love with her all over again. Yeah, there was like, she had good pop songs back in the day, but I felt like we started really getting real good conceptual albums for me would be Erotica on down. So from Erotica to Confessions, yeah, I feel like that was like peak. After that, then when you started getting the other records, I'm like, I don't know. Look, I even got a soft spot for damn, why don't I forget the name of the album? American Life. I was like, I almost forgot the name of that damn album. Did you know that Ethel tweeted a gif of Peter Griffin dancing and singing Ray of Light and captured it with a Lana lyric, and that's what started their feud. Oh yeah, I didn't know that. Oh yeah. I think we talked about the whole body shaming thing, right? That was one of the things that Lana said that was one of the reasons why they was going at it, was because she was body shaming her. Now look, no shade, Ethel, but if she would have called you a man, you wouldn't have liked it. So now she misgendered you, she transphobic, but it's okay for you to come out here and start throwing shade at somebody's body, right? So y'all need to be careful out here, because that's how I get. I get real in the gutter. Like, I don't give a good goddamn if you trans or whatever the case is. I will call you every name just to get under your skin and hurt your feelings. I'm not even about like scraping the little flesh. I want to hit the bone underneath. That's how petty I get. I do miss Madonna during her Lady of the Manor phase. Not Lady of the Manor, but that's the problem. She was something for Guy Ritchie, and that almost killed her. She had moments of Madonna, the real one. Mrs. Ritchie was going to lose. Even Rolling Stone told her Guy had to know who he was married to. Yeah, that's what it was. She was trying to be all demure and mindful, but Madonna was like, it's not me, and I never will be. Even to use one of her lyrics, even though she was kind of directing at it, you know who. But yeah, she's like, that ain't me. That's not who I am. Even that fake British accent used to make me cackle. My all-time favorite Madonna albums are Music, American Life, Rebel Heart, the self-titled album, All Timeless. That's a good question. I mean, I have CDs, but no CD players. I would have to play the music in my I would have to play it in my PS5. So they need to bring CDs back. CDs were iconic. I used to love CDs, but the only thing I used to hate is carrying a little CD case around. Now everything is easy on a phone, but yeah, but the only thing is you don't have to worry about signal interruptions when you're underground in the subway. At least if you listen to a CD player, the only thing you got to worry about is your batteries dying. There was a viral TikTok about how releasing alternate album covers is ruining the idea of an iconic album cover. Taylor already has a bunch out and Sabrina has 4. I do agree with that. I feel like we need to just do one album cover come out with the album booklets and call it a day. Do a whole photo shoot for the booklets. We need to bring that back. This whole multiple album cover thing, I do agree. It is stupid. It's a waste. It is ruining ideas of an iconic album cover because I feel like when we used to look at album covers, we'd be like, this is the thing they chose. This is supposed to mean something, and that's it. Now it's like you got 8 different variants of an album cover, and it's like, no, this looks like you do one one final album cover. The rest are just photo shoots and stuff that you did that's a part of the whole pictures inside the album, the booklets and things. That's what we need to bring back. Or just post the pictures and stuff on your Instagram in a carousel. Did you buy this recently or did you have it for some time? Are you talking about the CD player? Rebel Heart had 3 covers: the red sweater one, which some people call the Betty White version, because she was giving Betty White with the visuals. Then the black and white one, and then the red cover for the Super Deluxe. Well, she came out with different versions. And that's because of so many different versions of the record that came out. 25 songs, and it was like the standard one, and then it was like the bonus one. It was just a lot of different versions of that record. Taylor technically is independent since she's on every catalog now that she probably just distributes cassettes and vinyls and pay promotion. Yeah, like I said, we need to bring CDs back. But sometimes when I be saying stuff, it do be coming across shady, but I'm just being truthful. She don't have a good track record when it comes to filmmaking. It's I have the Super Deluxe. I do too, because I'm greedy. So if I like a certain artist, I want all the songs. Madonna was amazing on that album. That was when Madonna made it clear that she is not like her peers and she is here to stay. Because everybody was like trying to compare her to all those. And, she came out during the era of like expose, seduction, like doing all that type of music. But then she had to find a way to stand out and last. Well, those other girls didn't. I used to make CDs and hand them out at Pride events and concerts. I just do flash drives. The one I give out are 8 gig, which holds 750 to 800 songs. Well, like I've been saying, I've been wanting to get into learning how to DJ and stuff. So that's the next thing for me. Because I do like to hoard a lot of music and come up with stuff. Actually, to me, it began with like a prayer, and even I'm Breathless. Well, I do like I'm Breathless too. Isn't that where Vogue was on that? Right? My cousin bought me the Like a Virgin album on vinyl. Jesus. A strawberry lemonade sparkling water at Target. Well, we're not supposed to be going to Target because Target is all about trying to, that DEI mess. So, trying to they're anti-DEI. So we don't shop at the Target. So I can't have that strawberry lemonade sparkling one unless they selling it somewhere else. Most cars don't even have CD players. Yeah, that's true too. Like a lot of places don't even have CD players. So how can you even like listen to CD things if it doesn't even have it? My stereo I got last year has a vinyl CD and cassette player. I just had fun spending finally enough love. We need to bring back a one album cover. Like back in the day, album covers were concept statements and artists put love into it. Yes, they did. Now it's just like y'all just throw shit together because I guess it's quicker and easier and cheaper. I got a bunch of music video CDs a few days ago for free from a lady that was moving and giving away a bunch of stuff. I got a not Spike Jones. That's like well, you said Spike Jones compilation. So that's like what, all his music videos that he did? Whatever happened to Spike Jones? It's a Blur, Radiohead, and Portishead live in Roseland. Oh my God. That's one band I would have loved to have seen live. It'd be Portishead. I remember when they first came to New York, I was so mad that I was not able to go see Portishead live. Portishead is everything. But they said the music industry stole artists' overnight fortunes. But they were trying to find ways of stealing people's, or, stealing from the artists. I remember when Madonna issued the limited edition, had extra photos and exclusive CD artwork. Listen to the original doll. Labels do this because it makes them money. That's why they also did edited versions. I diversify my spending. They want to destroy the in-store experience and destroy everyday jobs. Okay. Yes, they do. They don't want to pay nobody. All right, y'all. So we have 2 more topics left. So let's get into one of them. Let's get into the homosexual news. And let's talk about David Archuleta's Hold the Tomatoes. You know, I always like making fun of his little name. So, David Archuleta, I believe he has an EP out, speaking of music. And with him, he got a little candid about his sexuality. So, American Idol alum David Archuleta made headlines when he came out as queer in 2021, and he mainly talked about dating men on social media. But in a new interview with People, he shared more details on the expensiveness. Well, they are expensive when you're dating. The expansiveness of his identity while promoting his latest EP, Earthly Delights. I do like a couple of his songs. He got that song Creme Brulee. I do like that song though. He do have some good bops. He said, for the most part, I date men, but I consider myself queer, so I'm still open to meeting girls. I still do if it feels right. He told the magazine. I still think he's holding on to that whole Mormonism situation. But no shade. I like you, David, but I don't see you dating girls. But we're going to go along with it. They said when you're in a group that's already misunderstood and they fought so hard to be seen and visible and understood themselves, and then you're more nuanced within the minority group, sometimes when you talk about the nuance, people can feel like you're discrediting their experience or invalidating them. I'm not trying to do that. And I get why he's saying that, because he's saying, like, yeah, when you're in a minority group, they always want you to feel like you have to choose a side, because then we're sitting here trying to cause bi erasure. And I do agree that there are people out here that try to act like bisexuals don't exist. Like, we did a whole segment on Nick Cannon talking about when, there was somebody that called in his podcast, a Flamer Row was on it, and Dr. Mike Dow, and they were talking about, like, what point should you tell a girl that you're bisexual? And I'd be like, the first date or whatever the case is, like, get it out of the way. Let them know, or when you feel comfortable enough. And I'm not saying you got to wait till 5 or 6 days, because by that time they're already locked in and they feel like they've gotten to know enough of you that they feel comfortable to let your guard down. Don't wait that late. But let people know from the beginning if you feel that comfortability. And if they reject you, then it's like, okay, they weren't for you. That's literally the universe saying that person is not meant for you to be getting involved in. And I understand rejection hurts. We all feel it. We all go through it. But eventually, wounds heal. And we move on to the next thing. That's the one thing I love about living in New York. The pickings of people you can get and date and hunch and all this stuff. It's a lot of different varieties. You got your vanilla, you got your chocolate, you got your Neapolitan, you got your strawberry, you got all the different flavors. You got your banana split, you got all the different, I'm using ice cream references. You got your Rocky Road, you got your strawberry shortcake. You got all your different flavors that you could choose from. I know there's places that are outside of the metropolitans, like the New Yorks and things, where you don't get a lot of those choices. But luckily enough, I can say that. But I totally get it. So it's like, yeah, I do think that when he was saying that when you say queer, it's like you open yourself up to being around different people and seeing those other stuff. There was something I saw too that Kesha came out as omnisexual. I was thinking I should have brought that into the topic. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But yeah, I was like, girl, what are you talking about? It's like y'all come up with these new phrases all the time, and it's like pansexual, but it's not. I'm like, okay. So then I was like, y'all come up with so many different phrases that the people get confused. But I'm still willing to be open-minded and learn. And it's like, yeah, that some people feel like when you come out and you say that you're queer and you're this, and you're open to dating this, that, and the third, you just came out of the closet. Now you're trying to invalidate the fact that queer people or gay people exist, and now you say that you're into guys, but then you're so open to girls, and now you're gonna have people out here thinking that, oh, you can't, that gay is a phase, and blah blah blah. It's like, you can't. Y'all got first of all, y'all got to stop worrying about what other people think. There's always going to be people out here who are going to invalidate homosexuality. That are going to say homosexuality is a sin. You're going to hell. There's something wrong with it, even though homosexuality existed long before Christianity. But a lot of these creepy, weird ass Christians, cool, y'all are okay with child molestation and things of that nature that's going on, and protecting pedophile priests, but y'all want to condemn homosexuality, especially this administration that's going on in America. So don't get me started on they Christian hypocrisies. So I totally get where David's coming from, but he also went at it. He said, I feel like with guys, it's easy because, to be honest, I think guys are just culturally and also just hormonally more forward. That definitely is true, because if you ever come across somebody like this, it's like, oh boy, I'm gonna take you in the bathroom and just pull your pants down and eat your butt. And we get right to the point. Whereas girls are more emotional and they're wanting to date. And I'm not saying that gay guys don't want to date, because we do, but the physical comes before all of that. But he also decided to remain private about where he's at currently when it comes to dating, telling the publication, I don't usually disclose where I'm at in my relationships. I'm very much in my lover boy flirty era, and it's a very fun time for me. And he definitely gives, like, he's very much, he likes the attention. He can be flirty. One of my friends, and I'm so envious because one of my friends actually worked with him. He's a photographer and he works with like a lot of the drag race girls and stuff. So he was like, one time we were hanging out in New York. I think he was doing some event. I can't remember which one it was. And he was supposed to do, I think it might have been the drag race premiere or something or another that I did, the season 17. And he was supposed to, David wanted him to work. Oh yeah, it was the season 17 situation, because David had a Christmas event that was happening. And the premiere for season 17 happened in December, because the season always starts in January. And he wanted him to come out there and do some photos and stuff for the event, but he couldn't because he was doing Drag Race. And so I've heard he's like really nice and very flirty and stuff. It's like, boy, don't flirt with me because I will do nasty things to you. It's like, do not flirt with me because I'm very much a mess when it comes to that. It's like, oh no, now the flirting is cute or whatever, but literally I will pull your pants down and do unspeakable things to you, of course with permission. I don't go around. I'm not Donald Trump. I don't go around R-wording people. He is a convicted felon for exactly that. So it's not me just pulling things out my behind just to, talk smack. It's literally, he's been charged. So he also spoke about his decision to leave the Church of Latter-day Saints, because remember, he was a Mormon, and said, I used to be really uncomfortable with who I was. I didn't know what to think of myself, which is what a lot of these religions teach you. They want you to self-hate and be unhappy with who you are, which is why I think a lot of times when it comes to religion, they're envious of those of us who let our flames burn bright, let our freak flag fly, and those who want to live their lives on their own terms without fear or judgment. And which is why you have a lot of these closet cases who put all these processes in place, be it politically and trying to, blur the lines of church and state, and want us to go against the things that we go against. It's because they're not happy. They can't live their life freely, which is why they be on Grindr and Scruff with a blank profile, cheating on their wives, getting their back dug out in private with prostitutes and things of that nature, but then voting on policies to decriminalize homosexuality. Make that make sense. So yeah, he said, I didn't know what to think of myself. And so when people knew who I was, I'm like, what does that mean? What do they think of me? He explains that his thinking has changed, saying, now I'm comfortable in my own skin. All right, Beyonce, he feeling cozy. The sentiment is clear in the music he's currently putting out as he explores his sexuality for the first time in his life. Now, in an interview out earlier this year, Archuleta talked about going through gay puberty after coming out, saying it's been a sexual awakening. It almost feels like I'm going through puberty now rather than as a teenager, saying I was afraid that if I let too much of my sexual feelings come out, that I would turn gay or I would unleash the monster in me or I would lose self-control. But I think that's a part of being gay. It's like that is unleashing the monster inside of you, meaning that part of yourself that society, the church, whatever the case is, tells you to suppress, that is a part of who you are that you should be exploring, that there shouldn't be a shame in you exploring who you are, your sexual desires, or, your feelings towards whoever you're in love with. Because they always tell us, like, babies are sex is for procreation. The fuck? You out your damn mind? No. I ain't supposed to just be out here procreating. I want to be able to live my best life and let my freak flag fly. You always get tongue-tied when I'm trying to say that. So, and I do agree with that. Like, that is definitely a perfect way of putting it. Gay puberty, because it's like you go through regular puberty, and then there's a part of when we come out of the closet, we're going through a different type of awakening and things of that nature. And I think him and our next topic that we're going to get into, Khalid, definitely that's a relatable situation where it's like you've had to suppress this thing for so long, especially being in the industry where they talk about you're not going to have a career if you're gay or whatever the case is. There have been people to prove that, when the times have changed, you don't have to be in the closet anymore and have a career. You can still have a modestly successful career. We've seen people like Adam Lambert, Troye Sivan, Ricky Martin, David Archuleta, so many others who have been able to, Big Frida, been able to maintain and have a steady career. You're not going to be on the same level as like a Kylie, Madonna, whatever, but who cares? As long as you're out here selling records and doing tours and making money, who cares at what level your career is at? And as long as you're living your life authentically and you cute or whatever the case is, you got bops and you can sing your ass off and the people are living, they will continue to put the money in and support what you do. So shout out to you, David. I'm a fan over here. I've been loving me some David Archuleta since he was on American Idol. I'm still mad that he lost, but look, in the words of RuPaul's Drag Race, losing is the new winning, because where's Chris Allen? So I say all that to say, whatever your thoughts on this story, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, said, yes, the compilation of all music videos. I was drawn to it because I saw Bjork, Daft Punk, and Weezer. Yeah, Michelle, I mean, wait, who did he direct the Around the World video from Daft Punk? He said Bjork, Daft Punk, and Weezer. Oh yeah, he did that song. I'm a loser, baby. So why don't you kill me? I do remember that song. Because I also got a Depeche Mode music video CD. You want to know something? Did y'all hear that Depeche Mode has a movie coming out, I think next month, in theaters? It's a concert or whatever, of a recent concert. There's a whole movie coming out regarding that. He said Annie Lennox live in Central Park. Look at you bringing up all the old classics. Portishead performed in my hometown years ago, and I was so mad I couldn't go. And my favorite rapper is Nana Cherry. Excuse me, she comes to New York all the time, but I'm never able to see her when she tours. Yeah, Phineas said RFK Jr. looks like us. He actually does. Like when I showed y'all that leathery ass skin, he definitely looks like he's got literally his face looks like a pair of balls. I mean, it doesn't hurt if he does, but yeah, he said. Yeah, it's always funny how a lot of the girls think that they was in the closet. It was like, child, we clocked your tea back then. We clocked your tea. We clocked Adam Lambert's tea. We clocked the Gakin's tea. We clocked a lot of people's tea. I already told y'all my story regarding Mario Vasquez. I told you them bathroom stories about him, why he got eliminated from. There's some truth to that. Because a similar situation happened at a friend of mine's birthday party, when he came down to the house in Brooklyn. And I was on a mission. When he showed up at that house, I was like, child, I was on a mission to get up in that. And so I wouldn't want my man checking out men if I were female. OMG, you go check it out. Yeah, I think is the overall reason of why a lot of women have a problem with men who have sex with men, because that is the mindset. And that was literally something I brought up when we talked about it, that bisexual segment that I just threw into the show. During the day when we talked about it, is that I think a lot of women are in that kind of mindset where they look at it as like, I wouldn't want my man checking out men if I was a female, because now it's like, oh, now not only do I compete with other girls trying to get with you, but I got to compete with dudes too. And that's why I think a lot of times men keep their bisexuality to themselves. It's so true. I'm pansexual and it's similar. The erasure is why it's a banana split sunrise. I mean, surprise. Funny enough, when you said banana split surprise, why am I thinking about penis? And you said pineapple upside down, but Did you know that homosexual men have their own No. What? Yo, I'm over it. Why the gays got their own pride flag? Like, I like the fact that we had like this new rainbow flags, but even though I know there was people against it, and I'm not going to hold you, I was against it in the beginning because I was like, the pride flag was created, but this way it was iconic, like that sort of thing. But then once I started to really think about it, I think it's because we've been so indoctrinated by the gay thing that I didn't think about that. Other communities felt left out, particularly queer people of color. Even though gay is a universal situation, homosexuality is a universal situation, there is racism that exists within our community. So people of color do feel left out when it comes to those things. I guess maybe in my mind, I never really felt that because growing up in New York, I had the luxury of going to like different bars and clubs that checked all the boxes for all the communities. Like if I wanted to go to a black bar club or whatever the case was, I went to Langston's, I went to Chi Chi's, Two Potatoes. If I wanted to go and be around the Latino community, I went to No Parking. I went to, like, there was always a spot that I could go to and hang out. If I wanted to be around white folks, we went to Splash, we went to XL, or it was kind of mixed too, of course, because it was New York. So there was always a different variety. Now the bars and the clubs is dry as hell in New York, but they got to have little nights or whatever. Even though they still had those back in the day, but a lot of those before my time. Like I wasn't old enough to go to the Ramrod and all that and all those other places that I would see in movies like Cruising. I'm like, chill. If I existed during them days, I'd probably be dead from AIDS because I would be a whore. And so when you mentioned the diverse guys to choose from in New York, for some reason, Pose came to mind. It's true, diversity is great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I said. I knew Dominique Jackson before. I knew her as Tyra Lord before she became Dominique Jackson. Because when I used to go to Chi Chi's and Two Potatoes, she used to perform in there a lot. And so the errors there so true. Gays are straightforward and women are classier and subliminal. Mm-hmm. Baskin Robbins, 31. I was going to say 31, not Baskin Bottoms. I'm the same way as you. I'm classy, but don't tempt me. You can have David, but I'm that way with Adam Lambert and Troye Sivan. Mm-hmm. I heard Adam Lambert is nice. I never got to meet him, but I was in close proximity of him because me and Sailor Mermaid, I don't know if he's in the chat, but me and Sailor Mermaid last year we went to Fire Island and we was out on this porch of this restaurant because it was like a couple of feet away from this club or whatever. We were outside eating, minding our business, and I happened to look over and I'm like, is that Adam Lambert? You've been running all kinds of celebrities and stuff in Fire Island, and it was him because I noticed some tattoos. And so it was him, and he had a couple of people. I think it was with his boyfriend at the time, but they broke up. If y'all heard the recent story, and I saw him them on their way to the club, and that's when I also ran into Candy Muse and Tsunami Muse, which I actually brought that up when I ran into Tsunami at the drag race fair. I was like, "Yeah, I saw you at Fire Island," and he laughed. I saw you in Candy. I'm almost mad that Tsunami got that voluntarily deported themselves to Panama because of this whole Trump administration situation. I was watching a bunch of Christian talk video. Oh no, why would you go down that rabbit hole? And it genuinely did move me. I just wish religious leaders and preachers would practice love thy neighbor. Okay, but they spread hate because it makes them money. But then when you hear people like, if you watch the I've Had It podcast and you listen to people like Jennifer Welch and Pumps and stuff, they talk about that, like how the church literally indoctrinates you to do the opposite of love thy neighbor, and they hate on people and they get off on people suffering, and how she had to be deprogrammed from that. I grew up fundamentalist Christian. I battled a lot until but I don't know anything about that because I feel like in New York, it's different. Like when you do church, I mean, I'm sure that in church and stuff out here, you get indoctrinated or whatever. I grew up Roman Catholic, so it really wasn't like embedded in me like that. Or maybe it was because my parents weren't really hard on us going to church. We would go, like, I remember when I was a kid, I would go to church. I used to hate going to church. And I literally was like Damien Thorne in The Omen. Remember when they were going to that event and Damien was in the backseat, and when they got close to the church, he started flipping out? That was me growing up. And with all of that, my parents over the years was like, yeah, I did my communion, I got baptized, I got my confirmation and all that other stuff. But they never really pushed church on us like that. So maybe my mindset is a lot different, and it opened my eyes up to even being more critical in regards of how religion and the hypocrisy of organized religion and stuff is. But I know like there are people where it's like the further down south you go in the Bible Belt, how people get so wrapped up in that because it's like that's all they have. They don't have so many different varieties of things going on in their town. So when you live in a small town or whatever, and all you have is church and this, that, and the other, what else are you gonna do? So I totally get it in a lot of those situations. Is that Elton John too? Elton, okay. Like who didn't know he was a queen? With all them outfits he was wearing. But then back then, I guess it was just like people didn't have a word for it. It was just, oh, we like the music and we like the flamboyance of it all, but people weren't really looking at gays and stuff like that. Yeah, where's Chris Allen, Taylor Hicks, and the rest of them? And I hated them. I hated the shade towards Sanjaya and so many other one. Oh yeah, Sanjaya, that was an iconic one because he was more or less known. And to me, it was like, do y'all think that was the producers kind of pulling like what Drag Race does today? That y'all know Sanjaya was a mess. But y'all was doing all of that. Y'all kept him around because y'all knew that was ratings gold with the kooky little hairdos he would come out with, and the vocals was a choice, and he was a hot mess on that show. But they kept him around because it was kind of like we were watching American Idol to hate watch on Shanjaya. And then I also remember Ian Bernardo, that's a friend of mine actually. When he was famous for going in on Simon Cowell. And even they even brought him back in the finale when all the original judges left. I just checked and it's not on the what? The C, but the funk. Oh, you're saying it's not on there? Oh, okay. It said wrong season. David Cook was his. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, you're right. So Chris Allen was Adam Lambert. I get my homosexual runner-ups confused because it was like, yeah, Chris Allen was Adam Lambert. David Cook was his season. Well, where David Cook? He missing too. So it was like it's basically a rendition of the lesbian flag, but with hues of blue. Jesus Christ. Not Salt Lake. The glare holes. Not the glory holes. Was he notorious for the glory holes? Child. I would not mind seeing a sex tape with David Archuleta. I was like, how you like it? You a bottom? You want to talk? Are you versatile? Inquiring minds want to know. But anyway, speaking of inquiring minds, not wanting to know about what he does in the bedroom, let's talk about Khalid. So, since he was outed by Hugo Del Monte a couple months ago, Khalid is now back in the news with a new song, which pretty much sounds like your average Khalid song. And that's no shade. I'm just saying, or maybe there's a little bit of shade, but I was listening to the song, I'm like, okay, now you're talking about, oh, he's come out, he's feeling free as as the wind blowing on this beach, whatever that line was that was in Paris is Burning. But to be honest, I wasn't that impressed with the song. I was like, it just sounds like your average Khalid track. But if this is how you feel that you're close to being, a free, out and about queen, where you get to live your best life and live on your own terms, by all means do that. As he said that he was never hiding and is not ashamed of his sexuality. Now, born Khalid Donnell Robinson, the star posted a rainbow flag emoji and responded at the time, there y'all go. Next topic, please. LOL. A fan then asked whether he was a homosexual, to which he simply replied, I am, and that's okay. Because I am a queen, in the words of India, period, Ari. On Friday, August 15th, the Young, Dumb, and Broke hitmaker shared the name of his upcoming album, After the Sun Goes Down, and The Sun Goes Down on You, and the accompanying album art. Now, set for release on October 10th, the album will describe Khalid's experience of living as his most authentic self and will also explore themes of love and self-expression, saying this chapter is about taking my power back, living in my truth, and being able to express myself freely, he said via a press release. Because clearly, before you were outed, you didn't feel free enough to express yourself freely? Because I don't think your music was given that. It felt like you were just some studio singer that had a couple of cute little bops or whatever. But is the music going to be given when it needs to be given? That's what the people want to know. So yeah, I just want to pull this up. That's the album cover, courtesy of his Instagram. If you were interested in checking that, I do like the picture because it kind of diversifies the situation. You're around people of color, people of all different genders, races, creeds, hues, whatever the case is. I do like that because it's giving hedonism. It's giving, I'm sweating out my perm. Why does this look like my friend Kareem McJagger, right? That's what that looked like in this picture. But it was like good friends with Honey Davenport, in case y'all didn't know that. But anyway, so I hope that the music reflects what he's saying, because a lot of times, here's what the issue I have with a couple of you homosexual musicians. I be feeling like y'all say all these word salads regarding, I'm living free and blah 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 and all this other stuff, but I'm like, I'm expecting a bit of that euphoric, hedonistic, IDGAF kind of pop music. And then when I listen to it, y'all just be giving me basic ass, uninspired, typical mid pop bops. And I'm like, the gays don't be giving me what I need to be given. Like, I need y'all to turn up like your Robin or Charlie XCX or Madonna or Khalid. Like, where are the gay versions of those artists? Yeah, I'm tired of the gays always giving those straight girls the good bops, but y'all don't be providing that for yourselves. It kind of is like y'all don't really want to let y'all freak flag fly. And when I say freak flag fly, I don't mean that you got to be out here swinging your dick in a music video. What I'm meaning that you just completely don't care what other people think. You put your full balls to the wall and just be free with it, creatively, musically, sonically. Like, I need something. I need you hoes to get hoes and homos to give me my life when I'm listening to the music. And I just don't feel like the gays be giving me that. The closest that I felt that I have gotten, well, I usually get that from Andy Bell, but Andy Bell, he don't care. He's a full-on homosexual. He don't give a good goddamn. But when Troye Sivan came out with Rush, I'm like, yes, because it was giving me full hedonistic sex. It felt a little like rough around the edges, like it was giving like macho homo, but it was sung by a twink. That was the only thing that it was just giving me with that. So then he also said that he's excited for fans to experience his new era, not just musically, but personally. He also released the lead single from the album In Plain Sight and its accompanying music video, marking a more upbeat sound compared to his 2024 release, Sincere. And that was another thing, too. Like, I don't feel like Khalid really does, like, up-tempo tracks or whatever the case is. Like, he's kind of always done, like, that sort of laid-back, pop-ish type stuff. He also told Billboard Canada before the album's release that his upcoming album is set to see not only his moody side, but the fun side, the flirty side. Saying, my new era of music feels like I'm ready to be the artist I've always dreamt of being. And when you say the artist I've always dreamt of being, that pretty much sounds like code for I have to hold back on certain things because while, yes, I'm an out and proud homosexual, behind the scenes, people that I work with, people in my inner circle, they know I'm gay. But when I'm trying to sell the music to the masses, I'm pretty much being ambiguous with my sexual orientation. So y'all, the people wondering, but I ain't never came out and said it until Hugo decided to use that as a way to kind of spruce up his music, but none of y'all cared. Because it's like, yeah, Hugo's a cutie, and I'll send you naked with them pictures and stuff you put on. Like, yeah, you fine as hell. Shout out to all the Dominicans that I punched. But at the end of the day, it didn't help your music any. What you posting and putting Khalid business out in these streets. So he went on to say, it goes back to the regressions I had when I was a child, imagining myself and thinking, I want to be this artist one day. Now it feels like I have the confidence to finally be that artist. And it could have been, with me even saying that before, maybe it is like, he finally feels comfortable at a place where he could be his true, authentic self. And I don't like outing people. I feel like you have to let people get to the place that they need to get in their own time. The only people I agree with outing are those who will do you harm. So if there's any people out there that vote against homosexual things or say negative things about the gay community, but you low-key be hunching or getting your backbone, because 9 times out of 10, y'all be bottoms any damn way. So if you be behind the scenes getting your back blown out, but you out here being homophobic, those are the ones I don't mind y'all outing. And Khalid ain't never bothered nobody, so I didn't like the fact that Hugo decided to do what he did. But if Khalid was out here doing the things that Hugo has accused him of, then yes, sir, you deserve to get read down to the floor. But it's basically a he said situation. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Khalid is saying about his new music? Are you here for this new era of Khalid now that he feels that he is a free, out, and proud homosexual? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so now let's see what the people are saying. Not Tyler Perry, I saw that. Not this again. Aaron David and Gloria Holes puts a new meaning to Salt Lake. Ah! So what you mean outed, girl? If Somber wins best, oh yeah, because I was like Somber, that's VMAs. He'll be the first male to win since Khalid in 2017. We'll see when the thing airs. He was outed by Hugo Del Monte, as I pointed out. I've always liked Khalid, but his recent music isn't for me. I wasn't really that upset when I heard the new song. This sounds no different than anything I've already heard from other people. As for Khalid, I stopped listening to his music. Same, a long time ago. I listened to a song of his last year and got a bunch of nostalgia for it. He hasn't really made any noise this decade. So you know what? Maybe the outing you was a blessing in disguise. When I was in 10th grade, a girl tried to out me, but I decided to come out before she cussed out. No, bitch. What you're not going to do is take my power. I'm going to get ahead of you. And that's what I agree with. Don't let these people out here try to take you out your character or disturb your tears or try to take your power from you. It's like, no, I'm going to stand up in front and say, yeah, and I suck dick. And what you going to do, bitch? That's how I would get. It's also Erykah Badu is releasing. Oh, is she? Shout out to her. You know, I love me some Erykah Badu. Khalid's done 2 EPs and a few other things, but he hasn't blown up. No, he's always kind of been there, just existing. He never like stood out. He's not a part of like the conversation when it comes to people. Someone said he looks like that looks like Adele next to him in the yellow. Is I feel that way about the gay artists not serving accurate plates. Pop dance classes can be made for us too, and not just okay. And that's why I say I never understand it. That's why I love about people like Jade. She's making her music for the girls and the gays. It's like when you understand the assignment, we live for you. And it's like when you make those pop dance songs, but why do you think that like only the little kids are gonna hear it? No. When I worked the Katy Perry concert, the gays was up in there just along with the girls. And I already know this week when I work Gaga's concert, it's gonna be gays and girls up in there too. And the boyfriends had to be dragged along, but still, it's gonna be mostly girls and gays. So I don't understand why it's like there is a demographic. The gay boys will support you forever, and then those girls will still be out here bumping your music, maybe not to the level of the gays, but still, if you make the music for us, we're gonna support you, no matter how old you get and things of that nature. I sent you something for your Twitter DMs or in your Twitter DMs about male artists in the industry. I'll check that out and I'll probably bring that up on tomorrow's show. Because I love Rush 2, that album, Something to Give Each Other. Troy said was inspired by Janet. Oh, definitely was a lot of Janet influences in there. I'm happy for Khalid's comeback, but he needs to give us the pop dance plates since he's more OG Taylor Swift on her acoustic guitar tees. I'm saying Andy Bell in October. I saw it. Excuse me. I actually saw Erasure once in concert, and it's funny. I don't know if I had some friends of mine came. My friend DJ Biozowns was there along with his boyfriend, and I went to the concert. But I think I'm trying to remember if I actually had the extra ticket and I gave it to him or something. I can't remember, but yeah, I went to the concert. It was at I forget where. I think it was at Roseland. That was a good concert. This was during the era of when I can't remember what the album was. I think it was the era. Fuck, what was it? The album. It was like when they did. See, now I'm gonna have to look it up in my music history, because that was around the time I believe with the album that Frank Music produced, and Frank Music was the opening act. I think it's called The Violet Flame. I think that was during that era. That was when I saw them in concert. Frank Music produced their record, and that was like when Big Cherry Tree and all that other stuff was popping. Steve Lacy is a bisexual. Oh yeah, I did see something on Steve Lacy. I didn't talk about it on the show though, but I did see there was a big story about him coming out and saying he was fluid. Just put out a song for the first time in 3 years. You might actually like it because it has a break beat to it. Yeah, I went to Madam X. Andy Bell was there, and he sat 2 rows behind him. I said, probably. He said his music's great, but he's been focusing on acting recently, so it's been a minute since I kept up with. I know he came out with a second record. The second album was. I like Omar Apollo. Um, I saw that there was because I didn't see that queer movie, even though I know it's on HBO Max. I need to watch it. And then there was the actor that played the guy that was having the sexual relations with um Daniel Craig's character, and how there was a video that's floated on TikTok, Omar flirting with him hard. I was like, Omar, you are such a whore, but we love it. We like our little corny Spanish boys. Yep. Sidebar. Y'all think him and Pedro Pascal's fucking? They good friends. Yeah, I mentioned that in the whole article that we did where he mentioned Clorox and kid cereal, and I was like, I believe it. I believe you would put Clorox in a child cereal because you that dumb. Yeah, I told her mention that during the topic. Ooh, child, this episode was a mess, but I was living for it. So we have come to the end of the show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be back on tomorrow with a brand new episode. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty much free until this Gaga concert, so I'm putting as much shows as I can because I already know, like, as starting next week in September, I'm going to be busy. So I'm trying to squeeze in as much shows as I possibly can. So yeah, so we'll definitely come back with more tea. Wait, what happened? Nicole might be dragged into court by both Robert Anton and Live Nation for being the biggest reason why the Pussycat Dolls reunion tour didn't happen outside the pandemic. And yeah, she's now rejigged her career because of Broadway and winning the Tony for Sunset Boulevard and all the other stuff. And they keep going back and forth with this whole Pussycat Doll reunion situation, all the drama going on with that. But I'll look into that and probably bring that on as topic for tomorrow and all that good stuff. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for kikiing with me in this mess of a show, and always your consistent report, because I wouldn't be anybody if I would just be a nut here talking to myself if I didn't have nobody. If I just didn't have y'all going back and forth with me in the banters and things. Wait, what? Said she's the biggest reason why, since she thinks people want to see her. Well, they want to see her on Broadway, but not enough where she could sing her own songs. Except that Broadway Bears Equity Fights AIDS, because she did sing one of the PCD songs at that event. My cruise is next week. Oh, all right. Well, again, I know like internet is a little crazy and stuff on the cruises, but yeah, definitely check out the clips and stuff if you can. So have fun on your trip. So yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in, and until next time, ciao, darlings.